Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and the U.S. Army working together to make things better. We're back here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington, right here in Arlington, Texas. It is currently 7 p.m. Central. I'm Corey Dunn, and I'm right here with Jonathan O. as we're about to get underway with another matchup, another great matchup, as we'll see that here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get everyone up to speed of where we came from and where we're going. You've got Kennesaw versus Pittsburgh. That one went the distance, and oh my goodness, did it go the distance. We had 2 overtime maps that came into that one, and we ended up seeing Pittsburgh be sent home by Kennesaw in a 2-1 scoreline. And then after that, we had Northeastern versus Purdue. The Purdue squad came out firing. They won the very first map 16-2, and then we saw our first double overtime in the entire tournament where Purdue was able to come out on top against Northeastern there on Overpass. That's going to bring us into our next matchup, UConn versus St. Clair College. This is another best of 3. We are in lower bracket round 2. This is the last match of the lower bracket round 2. And then we'll end the night with our very first upper bracket round 3. That is a semifinals match in the upper bracket that we'll be checking out here at the end. But after this match, John, after this best of 3 between UConn and St. Clair, we're going to be in our top 8. Only 8 teams remain after this matchup.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to think about. You and I were talking a little bit during the break of, holy cow, 8 teams left. Yep. We didn't think we'd get to this. We knew we'd get to this point, but when we first started all of this, we were looking at this 28 teams in front of us. We have so much Counter-Strike. We don't know anything about these teams. And so coming into this tournament, it's been just such a great time watching these storylines play out for all of these teams, seeing all these players playing all of their hearts out. And as we see some players like Shot Up is just standout performances across the board, and it's just unfortunate that we can't see any more of them. And I'm kind of sad the conclusion's just on Sunday. I'm sure we're going to have more of these tournaments in the future.
Absolutely.
But this one has just been a great one so far, and we've even got even more great matches left today.
Yeah, so speaking of which, we've got UConn, as we'll go ahead and introduce this team. This is actually a team that I'm a big fan of. I love watching their play style. I just like their overall personalities, as they've got some really good players. As you can see, this is Ray and Q and Lighty. Ray making those shots. Of course, that matchup was against MTU, and they just dominated against MTU. As you can see, just really good moments coming in here for this team. And then they had a really tough matchup. I mean, they had to really find their way. They were playing against RMU, and you can just see some of those moments. This was that one moment, because they lost this match 16-2, but Splix had a really, really awesome time. And that's how that game kind of ended. But there you have it. This is your UConn squad. This is Ali, Lighty, Q, Ray, and Splix. We've actually talked to Ali, and we've also talked to Ray as well in the interviews, and kind of got their insight of how their team was playing, and really kind of gave us a really good deep dive into the team. But on the flip side, John, they'll be playing against St. Clair College, as we'll take a look at this roster and see what they're all about. And this team is another one of those interesting teams. You know, we've got the likes. We see Cookie right here on your screen. He started playing really, 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 really well there in the later games last night. I believe it was last night. And so now you've got, you can see Zapper here, some other ones. Thrasher is another really good player. As you can see, that's what I thought that was. That you can see there's Thrasher. And just some good moments throughout the games that we had seen. This one, of course, was against Miami University of Redhawks. We liked that clip so much that we wanted to see it again.
And again!
Yeah, let's just keep laying it in there one more time. Yep, there it is. All right, so those are all the clips that we've seen there. I love it. That's good stuff. But this team is made up. You've got Concon, you've got Cookie, you've got Zapper, Scherze, and Thrasher here for St. Clair College. And so that's how that one looks for this team. But let's go ahead and get more into this matchup in this best of 3. Let's take a look at the pick bands. And so we can see Vertigo was gone. Man, we almost had a third map Vertigo in the previous best of 3. That would have been a weird way to end that whole series. But Vertigo is the first one gone. Mirage is the same one, as also has been removed from here. And so you can see UConn voting that one out of this best of 3. That brings us to, oh my goodness, I should have saw this one coming. So St. Clair College, they choose Overpass, which there's no question we'd see that map. But then after that, we actually see Nuke being called up, and I should have anticipated that one coming because that is we've seen UConn just have really, really good games on Nuke. And then if needed, we'll get to our last game. We'll see that one be on Inferno. Now, there's one thing, John, before I let you kind of talk about this team. UConn is, their play style is, they talked about that. They say that they're kind of a slow team. We're probably going to see a 2-1 score, but we haven't seen them in a best of 3 yet. This whole time, we've only seen them in single maps all the way through the tournament because they've stayed in the upper bracket both through their group as well as in our playoff bracket. And this will be our very first time to see them in a best of 3. Of course, I think all of it really falls on the very first map, which is Overpass. If Overpass goes in the way of St. Clair, then we'll probably see 3 maps because I think Nuke is definitely a UConn-style team.
It is, and we saw that when they went against the likes of, I believe, let me just double-check here. Wait a second. It was MTU, was it?
MTU, yep.
MTU. And that's where they just took it to them on the A bomb site over and over and over, just kept attacking. And if they could do that on Overpass, that's once again one of those maps where you can just kind of keep attacking the B bomb site. You can get into those forward positions pretty quickly. If you find that one pick towards sandbags on that connector position, you win that bout. You can then just throw some utility over and you can just take a site. And we saw that UConn, when they find something that works, they will keep doing it. They kept running it at the A bomb site, and it kept working against MTU. Yeah. And I'm very curious to see how they play Overpass because they say that they're a slow team, but they hit and they hit as a team and they hit hard. And so we haven't seen St. Clair be tested like that before, other than like maybe 1 or 2 rounds here and there, and sometimes even on ecos. But like with full gun rounds as a team, fully committing, working together, I think St. Clair's got a hard test in front of them. But I've been wrong on both of my predictions today. I said that Kennesaw would win the first one 2-0, and that one went the full distance.
Absolutely.
And we saw, double overtime in the later series with Purdue, and they won it. And I thought Northeastern was going to take that. I thought
Northeastern was going to win that one as well. But the Purdue that we saw today, I wish we would have seen them this entire tournament. But we both recall like how, just as you mentioned, this whole tournament has been an interesting one where we learned a lot about these teams. Throughout. We had 8 days of group play, and the first thing that we ever got to get introduced for Purdue was actually about Shot Up, the fact that he just woke up before his very first map, and then he had to go and play, and he didn't play well. And then after that, we've seen a whole different player from him, as I guess sleep does help out.
He was 6-16 for what I remember of that match.
Yeah.
Ever since then, we haven't seen him go under 20. And in fact, that last game, he was 41 in double overtime, which was 19-22. So there's 41 rounds. So a kill every round for 41 rounds that's
good.
Solid.
Yep.
Absolutely solid. And he was joined by the likes of his teammates who had 40 in that Newsty.
Yep.
So that's ridiculous enough to say about that. So those guys were exactly exciting to watch. And so that's what I'm saying. My whole point is I kind of put them aside just because I thought it would be the shot-up show, but I thought Northeastern would have more of a fundamental team, and obviously the sub coming in shook up their chemistry a little bit too much for them to handle. And so going into this next match, I'm not going to put St. Clair out of the picture. We've seen they're pretty solid as a team.
Yeah, well, so while we wait for them to get in the server, we're just waiting on one more player. Let's look at the upper bracket because I want to focus on how these teams got knocked down to the lower bracket for a second. So I'll give give the crew some time to be able to pull that one up. So, again, that's the upper bracket. And so let's see, again, who was the teams that actually knocked them down into the lower bracket. So you can see we're going to go ahead and trace with UConn right now in that second match in the top left. UConn defeated MTU 16-8, and then RMU sent UConn down below 16-2. That was the last time we had seen UConn, but RMU was so good. And then let's go ahead and see if we can find St. Clair College. They were at the bottom of this upper bracket. And you can see they actually got sent down by Kansas State. So that's a tough team. Kansas State is a really, really good team. So St. Clair College, as soon as they got into the 16-team playoff bracket, they had a tough team to face off against. But if you look at the lower bracket, let's see who they've had to advance against to see if they've had a real challenge to be able to fight through. They had to play Miami University of Ohio, and they won that one 2-1. That was a tough game. I remember I've talked about it a few different times. That was a tough game. It had some very, very rough edges. And St. Clair College is going to need to come out hot in this game if they want to be able to compete with the likes of UConn. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, but that's how confident I feel in that statement. So we'll be paying attention to that as well, because, again, St. Clair, although that match was earlier in the day as well, that was a 3 p.m. matchup Central Time yesterday. It is currently 7 p.m., 7:10. So that's how we'll see how that one actually plays out as we wait for our 10th player to join into the server. But, John, so that's kind of the information that we have going into this one. Whichever team wins this matchup will actually advance, and they'll be playing against Kennesaw. So that's something to be on the lookout for as well.
As I look through the maps now, yesterday we saw St. Clair go against Miami University of Ohio, as you see at the very bottom of your screens there. It was Overpass was St. Clair's pick, and they took that 16-18. So no surprise, that's our first map in this series.
16-8. Yep.
Or did I say 18?
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
16-8. That's 16-18
No worries.
is not possible. And then it was 16-8 in favor of St. Clair. Then they went to Train, lost 16-12. Just not a complete game. It's evidence as to see why that St. Clair has banned Train and has done so as well in this series.
Yes.
And then they went to Mirage, and they dominated 16-3. It was lights out. That was a completely different team. And so as we look through these pick bans, it's no surprise to me that UConn's first ban was Mirage. And to the flip side, St. Clair bans out Vertigo on the very first map, which is once again no surprise because we saw UConn 16-0, the only one we've seen in this tournament on Vertigo.
So now we're going to be kicking things off. Starting off on the Terrace side will be St. Clair College and UConn on the T side. And let's expect a little bit of shock and awe as Concon goes directly up mid towards Water Fountain, and he is causing so much damage. And he's going to go ahead and take a seat on the bench as he's done his job, though. And right here over by the barrels is going to be Thrasher. Thrasher going to be able to pick up one. As actually, I think those two are swapped again. So we'll be looking out for that. Because there's Zapper, and there's... Yeah, so Zapper's already out of the round. And we just saw Thrasher fall. So there we go. So everything's correct. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. As Lighty now down to a 1-on-2. He's got Cookie and Scherze. And he's definitely going to get some. Oh, the pop! That pew pew is strong, and that shows how strong it is. Doesn't matter which hands it's in. As there's Cookie with the frag, and now it's St. Clair 1, UConn 0.
I feel like we've seen so many highlight pistol clips
well,
on this
the
map.
USP
Only this map. I mean, we've seen Deagles across the entire tournament, but USPs on this map seem to be the one that just goes nuts. He had a 4K. Is Lighty, and he almost closed that out with the ace clutch. And I mean, we saw last time, and oh, there goes Lighty, unfortunately, as he seems like, man, I should have had the ace, guys. I'm out. He quits.
I'm out.
That's obviously
I give.
That's obviously not the case here, but as I've mentioned, we've just seen so many great plays with the USPs on this map. My favorite one, I think, one of my favorites of this tournament was Trinity Lord against UCF, and just that ace clutch that he had to close out the second half, just finding headshot after headshot, just beautiful stuff.
So we'll be getting Lottie back into the server, but St. Clair College picking up that round. They had a really good hold until Lighty actually started just slaying away and ending up getting 4, but still not getting that 5th one to be able to close out the round. So Lighty is now joined back into the server. We'll now wait for him to be able to get things started. We will make a note, though. Lighty is actually 4-1, not 3-2. So sometimes whenever you get disconnected from the server, it goes ahead and takes away a kill because it's assuming that you've committed suicide at that point, and then after that you've also adds a death to that as well. All right, let's see. Then we got 2 Deagles, a Tech 9, and 2 P250s here for UConn. And there you go. It's going to start. Concon, who was super effective in the very first pistol round.
That was I'm laughing because that was just the best time to come to that perspective. You just snap to it and pow.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that, John. We're gonna see a lot of it.
It never gets old. It never gets old. As we see Lighty, he's found himself in a bad position. There's no way he was gonna find that shot onto Scherze. But that's only one player down. They still have the bomb. That's towards Connector. He's gonna find himself an MP5. Might just stick with the Deagle based on the ranges he's playing at, but here we go. Starting to push towards sandbags. That's the utility going in, and they're going to take out 1. They're going to take out 2. And they're going to take out 3. Nice and easy. Keeping it calm, cool, and collected. St. Clair able to wrap that one up. Has to be expected as they got the pistol. And here we go. Rifles in hands of both the teams now. This is what I would say is the decider in some sense.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your first real gun round. Of course, there's 2 FAMASas that are out, but this will definitely be considered a gun round. Cookie's going to be watching here towards long. You can see the separation, the default setup. As Lighty peeked out, but he didn't see anybody. As Cookie was behind the tree. Scherzey's going to be pushing up. We actually saw Scherzey play the same position the entire time on the CT side. It was something that I was paying attention to. And there goes Concon. Cookie's going to need to retreat back towards the A bomb site, but he's not. He's actually going to try to see if they decide to push through. And he actually is going to go ahead and try to flank here. And they're continuing to play. Scherzey's already rotated here towards this bomb site. That's going to go ahead and slow down the push, but look out. Cookie is on the flank, and Cookie gets Ray, and he gets Ollie. This is all behind. Again, we knew that he was going to be on the flank at some point, and almost gets a third there. So Cookie, the damage has been done. And now you can see they're going to start to be able to rotate back here. Good play by Cookie, though. Being able to pick up those 2. Scherzey's trying to be in an aggressive position and see if they check their angles. They do not. And so now, starting to wonder which team, which Yukon did we get today. It now splits down to a 1-on-2. 15 seconds left here in the round. That nade's going to slide on by, and he needs to make a decision quick on how he wants to be able to play this one. He decides to go ahead and save his weapon. And you're going to see the drop. And he's not going to stay alive, but he will die in time. So now the score is 3-0 in favor of St. Clair.
Yeah, that was really close. If that was the difference between him having $3,300 at the end of the round as we were checking out with Cookie there. How he was able to make that flank possible. He just found his way towards party, and he brought the gifts to St. Clair, as that gives them the 3rd round on the board for themselves, as they're going to go against Tech 9s in what looks to be a B rush. Yes, it is. They sure are. They are running through the site right now, and they are blind. Look at those flashes connect. But on the flip side, it seems like St. Clair was also blind themselves, as Thrasher's able to find 2. They stack up for him, and whoa, look at that. He's not able to find either of them. As now the MP5's coming in silently, and he's able to take them out. And that's 4 on the board there. It's a nice rotation there from Concon. You don't really see the MP5 very much. I only heard it, so I was like, what the heck? What gun was that? That's not the USP. There's no way that thing shoots that fast.
It's funny because the MP5 used to have a very, a good definitive sound, and now it's just like...
I thought it was the Phantom there almost.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old TMP, which no one in this entire Twitch channel is going to know about the TMP. Only a select few know about the TMP.
I don't know what it is either, so that includes me, Corey.
It's the machine pistol. Looks like we do have a server hiccup. Oh, man. This is not how we want to wrap up tonight.
It is not. We've seen this happen before, unfortunately. Okay. Maybe it was just us. Maybe it was just on our side, as it seems like the players are still going. We'll have to check in with them to hope and see that it was just on our end. So
it was not. It was so Cookie inside of Discord said the server died in all caps, and then Ollie says, "I think it's back."
Well, I would say if I'm Ollie, I'm saying it's back, considering they found the first 2 picks there. But
I'm okay if we pause after this and we kind of talk through a little bit, because that was a really big spike. So no. Cookie, I think you may have alt-tabbed during that time frame.
I think we might seeing some players having worse experience than others, as it seems like everyone's watching an angle except for one player, and that's Q.
Yep,
He's actually taking down his teammate to get this bomb down. So are we able to just reset the round number 4 here, Corey? Because I think the only play, it looks like they're coming back 1 by 1. Obviously, we don't want to award this round to anyone, as it was not necessarily at a pivotal point. It looks like these teams are actually going to try and play it out. We'll do our best.
Well, Q ended up taking out a teammate, so.
Well, yeah, he did that because he had the bomb. He took out his teammate to get the bomb so that he could plant it because he saw his teammate was DC'd. Okay, so they get the bomb down in a weird situation, and St. Clair is able to get that one. So I imagine we'll see a pause here unless both of the teams are okay with continuing. Okay, well, I guess they seem comfortable enough with the server stability that they don't want to take a pause, and I guess a unorthodox round number 5 as we see Cookie missing that jump, and that is the #1 most missed jump we have ever seen in this tournament. And it's now
Cookie's still watching out there. That was the jump that you're talking about, and it doesn't matter. He stays on the low ground, and it pays off for him as he hits off the top of that umbrella. And I don't know if it blinded anybody. And
looks like we are spectating Casper now. The invisible ghost, that is.
He's actually not that invisible. There's too many people that see Casper.
That is true. And
all right.
Well, we'll have to work through this one, but we'll continue now for the time being.
Yeah, well, we talked to the players, so they said no, we're all good. So we will just stand by with them. So see how they got. Lighty's been able to spot one, and ConCon is now they're going to start heading over here towards the B bomb site. You've got the rotation happening, and Zapper is slightly blind. Wally's blind. His Ollie able to pick him up, and Scherze is now left to Ollie. Ollie gets the bomb planted. He's down to 1 HP. He does get a quick peek. Does pick up one, and he picks up another. Oh my goodness, that round almost ended really bad for St. Clair. But of course now they've got a 6-0 lead here, John. This is again I had very high hopes. They were way up here.
Yeah, and the guys that we always talk about. Let's look at Ray and Q. Between the two of them, they are 2 and 12.
Oh man.
I mean, obviously, it's, you know, if you had death together, it sounds worse than it is. But 0 and 6 on Ray and 2 and 6. Excuse me, 0 and 6 on Q and 2 and 6 on Ray. That's not what you want to see.
That doesn't sound any better there, John.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, neither of them sound great. There was not really a winning option there, as we haven't seen a winning round on the board on the side of UConn. Scherze's winning that fight towards Sandbags, and Splick's able to find a pick there with AWP. See Cookie now with one in his hands. Oh, that's a nice flick on the Splix, but then as soon as he finds the kill, they find his position, and they're able to quickly knock him out of the round as the rotation is quickly coming over to this A bomb site. Zapper's going to be the first one there to meet him, and he's trying to peek from so many angles, but he's able to find both of them, and somehow this round has already come to a close. That's going to be 7 on the board for St. Clair, unless Ali's able to have a miracle of a round for himself. They know the AWP was dropped. They don't know he's picked it up, however. So just playing as smartly as Zapper, just trying to cut off that angle. They are watching every single other spot, so there's really only one place that he can come from, and it's A-long, and they are exactly watching that position. Zapper is able to find himself 3 nice kills in that round, and that's going to close out round number 7, 7-0 in favor of St. Clair. Q still on nothing.
Yeah, take another look here at this moment. What we were able to see how this game was going. As now we can see this game feed right now. We're back into our game. Just had to fix it so everyone could see the models. It honestly, I'm going to be very, very, very candid. It did not actually faze me at all not being able to see the gun models.
It took me a second.
It's
weird.
It felt like I was watching Quake, and it did not bother me at all.
That's why it felt so familiar.
Yeah, it didn't faze me. I knew what weapon they had because I could look.
See it on the bottom.
I could see it down below, and it just did not faze me. 8-0 though. UConn, they've absolutely been phased.
Yeah, Q has got to bounce back. He's 0-8.
Oh man.
And that's that entry fragger we were talking about. That's the guy that we thought were going to make the difference. When we said we wanted to see them attack bomb sites, that we want to see them attack it hard.
Yep.
He was the guy always leading the front.
Yep.
And so the fact that he's 0-8 is just, I would say, devastating for him and his team, as we see another pick there from Cookie. Already starting with their backs against the walls. Ray's trying to go hunting. They heard the footsteps, and now that's Con looking to go towards connectors. They perfectly just pass one another, and Cookie's going to be like, hey, Con, weren't you watching that? And Con's just finding himself pushing towards more on connector. His team's starting to rotate back, and Con is still not moved.
There might be another. We'll have to check in on that one as well, because he should have moved by now. That's player.
Yeah, and if you look at number 7 here, that's Q.
Yeah, we should expect him to be moved. So yeah, we're having some. And there they both break at the exact same time. So there is some lag spike that must have happened for both of them.
I imagine that we'll see a pause after this round just to wait for some service stability as Scherze's able to find some shots to come in. And yeah, not quite the way you want to see that round come through for the side of St. Clair. And yeah, there's that pause.
Yeah, no, they absolutely should have paused. All right, so the score right now is 9-0. We're going to look into some of this stuff because, yeah, that is the downside to playing online.
As we look back at some of these past games from these teams, UConn, I'm seeing here, they have banned overpass in their past matches, and it seems like it's been one of their top bans throughout their matches. And their very first match of the series against Oklahoma State, they banned it last, so maybe not, but it's been their second ban. And it's not surprising to see why. They don't seem very comfortable onto this map right now. 9-0 in favor of St. Clair. We're trying to address some server issues. But with that said, they're still playing a great game. Assuming that players are able to play to their max capacity and not being disturbed by these server spikes. St. Clair's looking really good. They are looking really good. We see on the scoreboard, Scherze's 11-4, Cookie's 9-4, Zapper 9-4, Thrasher 9-2, or excuse me, 9-5 on Zapper. All the players on their side stepping up, doing great things for their team. But on the flip side, you look on to UConn, 3-9, 0-9, 3-9, 4-9. So every single round, every single player has died. Lighty's on 9-10. That 10, it should be 10-9 as he disconnected, which then I believe removes a kill for himself and adds a death. So Lighty's really the only guy stepping up for his team here. And as a reminder, this is the lower bracket, so the winner of this match will proceed to fight, I believe it was Kennesaw, and the loser will go home. Will not receive any of that $5,000 prize pool for themselves, as that goes to the top 3 teams, $3,000, $1,500, and $500 respectively. But such a fast start here from St. Clair, 9-0. If you're UConn here, you basically need every single one of these rounds to go into your favor to feel okay about this. As we're continuing to look into these server issues, let's check out some of the highlights we've got. So that was a nice shot there from Ray, and that started off seeming like they would try to find some better shots, and Cookie's able to get the flank. And Scherze showing to be a tank at that side, and that was the nice flick there from Cookie. Zapper holding it down, getting 3 kills for himself on that bomb site. He's so good, we're going to see it again even. There you go, there's some highlights of what we've seen so far in this map. This is map number 1 in this best of 3 series. This is the last of best of 3s we will see for today. after this match, we have RMU versus VCU. That is slated to start at, I think, 9 p.m. And with how this match is unfolding in front of us right now, we unfortunately might need to move that one back, or based on if we have any flexibility with scheduling, that one might have to run simultaneously as we saw today, as Kansas State University, or Kennesaw, they went the distance. It was 15-19 in favor of Purdue, and then we saw 16-12, and now we see 19-15 to close out that series for them to move on and defeat Pittsburgh. And if you look at that, it looks like we're back into the match.
Yeah, the players decided that they wanted to go ahead and continue to play with it. Me personally, I'm actually not a fan of them actually starting through this, because the server has been having some pretty bad issues, and that's going to basically change how this competition goes here. So, but the players wanted to play; they both agreed to it. I just got some lessons learned here.
You said both teams were okay with this?
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess if that's the players' decision, then we'll go with it. It seems like everything's fine and dandy right now, as UConn is trying to battle and get their first round on the board for themselves. I start to get a little nervous as I watch players holding angles, but this is a retake situation, and that's exactly what they'll do in this situation. And as you see, Ollie's still with us. So is Splix, and they get their first round on the board as UConn. Then UConn screams into the air at St. Clair and says, "That's right, no one beats UConn 10 rounds in a row, unless you're RMU." And in fact, I don't know if RMU got 10 in a row, but boy, they made quick work of UConn. That was 16-2. If you're a fan of UConn, you're hoping for a different series in front of us now, as it seems Ray is not with us in this server. He had some weapons dropped for him, and he might have wanted to upgrade a pistol as he gets it now, but he's still in spawn there. Okay, he's kind of walking around. We'll just jump into the match here. Q's 0-10. He wants to come alive, but he gets shot in the back by Scherze, and that's going to be 0-11. As the action's going down towards the aim bomb site, we see that the bomb has gone down, and Leidy's pushing his way towards spawn. It's a 2v2 on that site. Ray is coming to join his team, so he's joined us. And oh my goodness, what a flick there from Splix. And as I say that, Cookie finds a collateral. So now it's just left to Ray, who is unfortunately still having issues. And well, Corey, I feel like to some extent we might need to step in here, because they say they're okay with this, and as you mentioned, this is kind of affecting the outcome to some extent. As we see, Ray has $4,100. He could have spent that money, get himself a weapon, something for himself going. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to join his team until much later. He went searching for some guns, and that seems like he's stuck down towards connector. Ray just disconnects entirely, actually. So that'll see a pause in itself, as Ray is no longer in the server with us. Corey, do you have any updates?
I'm working on it right now. That's the gist of it. Trying to get these players again. I don't think we should have advanced until, because seeing that type of stoppage where it didn't just impact, like, it was impacting multiple players, and that can't happen. So I'm working on it. Let's go ahead and take a break. Let's go ahead and take a break for now. I want to make sure we do this right, because we're this deep in the competition. We're about to get into our top 8. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. We'll give you, as soon as the game is actually ready and we feel comfortable with the actual server. I can't. It's near and dear to me to make sure that competition and integrity is held true. And I don't want these teams to basically get to this point in the tournament and fight this hard, and then all of a sudden, it's the server was the problem. It's just like watching any other traditional sport, and it's the referees are the issue, or the storm rolls through, or the wind was blowing. I want it to be about the players that are actually playing the game, not about the server that's there. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with actual gameplay to make sure that this one is done right. We'll get everything going here in just a moment. All right, so we're back here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. This is still map number 1 out of this best of 3. We've got St. Clair College and UConn. The score is currently 10-1. Now, I had a little fatherly moment with the teams, both of them, sharing with them, making sure they understand what it's like to actually play in a real big professional tournament, especially a stage that's like this. There's certain instances that you have to be mindful of. Being a prima donna, this was not one of them. You need to ensure that the competition is correct. And so both of these teams now know, go ahead and pause the match and make sure you talk with an admin so we can get things right. So we are going to continue to play through it. Both teams elected to play in this match and even get it to this point being a 10-1 scoreline. So we'll be kicking it back off. And so St. Clair, they're in a really good position now as we hop into the game. As you can see, the score is 10-1, and UConn is now going to be here. So we're in a completely different server now as well. So there has been a change that has been made already, so we can be able to help them out. But there you have it, Lighting with the first one, and they're getting quickly traded. And it looks like St. Clair is playing pretty well. Now it's going to be left up to Splix. Splix has had some really good rounds in this tournament. So we'll see how he can be able to play this one out here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and try the boost, and this boost is going to give away both of their positions, but I think Splix might be in the right position at the right time, and he's on the angle. He shoots for the higher one, and that was Con. So now the score is going to be 11-1. John, there's a big part of me that it's going to be hard for me to not write off this map.
It's definitely a weird feeling, and I'm right there with you. I totally agree, and I feel the same way that you do. It feels just a little bit weird. And even talking with the players, they were so calm about it too. They're like, oh, they was fine. Like a lot of them were saying it was, well, we just thought it was on our side. We just thought we were having some issues on our end. And well, seems like that might not have been the case. But Q finding his first kill. We'll see him start coming alive throughout this series. I'm sure of it, because he's been such an impact player throughout this entire tournament. Man, Con. Able to find Ray just there, and Cookie's not able to find the flick, and he's able to find one onto Splix there as they continue pushing down this A bomb site, and that causes a rotation coming over for the last two players, and they're going to hear that, and Q's going to say, hey, well, I'm going to push onto this B side. If I see something, I'll take him out. He's already on the side. He doesn't have to take out anything because there was no one there, and that's a free bomb plan in the side of UConn. They would absolutely love to get some more rounds on the board for themselves, try to get a little bit closer. Not in the round at anything worse than 11-4. As Q gets taken out there, he had like no health to work with. Now we see the gunfights coming in. It's 3v2 situation, not in favor of that of UConn, and Thrasher. He's 12-5, and he is feeling good in this game. He's 12-5, and his team is 12-1 over UConn. And Corey, I mean, you said it. If they take this map so quickly, is St. Clair through their map kick, then we go to Nuke, I feel like UConn can have the same amount of success against them. We very well may see the Inferno very soon.
We might. What needs to happen here in this matchup, though, is you're going to need to see UConn start to at least be able to pick up some rounds, and just at least on the CT side. If this score ends in like a 16-2, 16-3, remember, St. Clair gets to choose which side they start on first whenever we go over to Nuke, and they can carry some momentum over with them. But UConn does have a very, very good nuke. They have a very good T-side nuke, so we'll see. Now they're going to be able to play around the corner, and there's a quick no-scope coming in from Cookie. He will get traded. It is now down to a 3-on-2. As we can see, just around the corner there, inside of the side. Q peeks on to Scherze. And now they know where the last player is. That's Zapper, and missing an off shot. That was coming from Ollie. A nice little loft of the fire. That's going to slow him down. That's going to make sure he doesn't come from that angle. That nade was almost a really good placement. And so it looks like he's going to be able to try to save this M4.
Or at least just find a new position, but no, you are exactly right. He's just going for the save. And
3-on-1, yeah, no, it's...
Hey, we've seen crazier things, Corey. We have seen crazier things, so I'm not going to put anything out of the question here. It's now 13-1. Oh, excuse me, 12-2
yeah, 12
in favor of UConn.
Just trying to give more rounds.
Whoops. With that said, that Molotov, I don't think I've seen a Molotov just being lobbed like that from that perspective.
Yeah.
Just coming at you is like, oh, what's that?
It's like,
it's like a mosquito when it's like cold and it's just like really slow. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm going to get you.
Here I come. Seems like that's what Ray is saying is what Q is saying is he went from 0-11 to 3-13. Obviously that's not stellar. But that's got to feel good to be getting back on the board here in this, because this has just been an awful half for UConn. 12-2 so far. I'm sure they would love to get to a 3, because they're going to have a lights-out performance on their CT side. I mean, if St. Clair's able to do it, then UConn can equally as well. Thrasher's going to be able to spot Q there. He's already revealed his position by trying to spray through Monster. Now Shirzay's actually just going to take the fight right to him. He says, hey, I know exactly where you're at. You're making a lot of noise. Be quiet. As, Concon, he had the angle there. But he didn't have the aim. As Ali's just going on a hunting spree with Lighty now. And they're going to take that bomb and they're going to try to push it through a long. And I say that and they instantly turn around. Okay, well, it seems like Ali's just trying to make up his mind.
He's doing circles over there.
Yeah. Did he just pick up the AWP? Is that what he went back for?
That's probably
okay.
what. Yeah, that would make sense. Of course, we were just paying attention to the minimap. And Lighty with the AWP. I think, did Ollie drop the AWP for Lighty?
He swapped it over to him. You're exactly right. So we see him coming onto the site now. Ray is blind. He's going to get taken out, but that's that AWP that we were talking about. It's left the Zapper now. We saw him last round run away, and there's only one round left of this half, so he's not going to run away this time. And he's just going to get taken out. So that AWP came to life at the very end there, and Lighty's got 19 for himself. Actually, that should be 20 because the suicide minus
You're correct.
One.
Yep.
So he's actually 20 and 13.
That is correct.
That is a nice scoreline. Look at all those. Did you see their profile pictures? 3 of them had the same one on the side of UConn. Now, that's team synergy when your Steam icons align.
Yeah, as we take another look here from Ray and Lighty. And Lighty just had some good shots there, wrapping up the last 3 there. That was that AWP as we saw him circling around in the minimap.
And now we know why, yeah. Just clinical play there. Just had the crosshairs always at the right spot at the right time. But here we go. We are in the second half already, just like that. St. Clair's up 12-3. They find the first pick, and they are just zooming to this A-bomb site. They are not slowing down, but Q's going to try to get them to slow their roll as he finds a quick headshot, and Ray's able to follow it up. And we know those two can be an anchor on a bomb site. We saw them on Inferno. They can absolutely be lights out. So St. Clair's happy to get the bomb down. They're finding themselves in a 3v3 situation now behind the kill of Cookie. Now they're just pushing on through. Lighty's absolutely feeling it this match. Cookie's going to take him down, but Lighty, I have a feeling he's going to win that fight, and he sure does. He finds himself a 3K, and he sits on 23 and 13 for the map. And if there's someone who needed to come alive for the side of UConn, it is Lighty, because look at that. Their team across the board is just not looking great.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely issues whenever you start looking at momentum. You talk about a UConn being a momentum team, and then you just have all the different issues that you'd come across, and then at that point, how do you play? If you're a momentum team, you have some type of impact like that. So Lighty, though, fights through it throughout the whole time. I even heard, through the process of Q saying he was the only player that was alive in the server, basically, where everybody else is frozen, and he ended up having to take out the bomb carrier, which is Ollie. That's why we saw the TK, and went from there. So that's gonna be my last comment about the issues that we've had in this first half. I think the second half, though, is going to be a completely different picture in terms of really good momentum, as Q has not only thrown down the molly and slowed them down, but he also picks himself up one quickly, a little pop flash action to be able to support him there. Splix does have Splix has a scout. And he takes down Cookie. Zapper now down. And Zapper is out as Splix has done work with the scout. Now Q's right there. And they're all there. You can see that they're already starting to rotate over here. It's left up to Concon as he's given away his position. He's going to try to defend himself with a deagle. Tries to play the right angle. Good control there. Does pick off Ali. As Ali was in a tough spot there. But there you have it, 12-5. And UConn looking to continue to string some rounds together. But this will be the first real gun round that we'll see here in the second half.
And this is a huge round for the side of UConn. As you said, Corey, they are a very heavy momentum-based team. And if they're able to take this one away, I could very well see them tying up this score line, or at least dwindling that lead for the side of St. Clair. There we see some action going down, a trade going down towards A, the side, around that fountain area. But it seems like the bomb has taken its way to the B bomb site. We see now Sherzay, he's wanting to get aggressive, and Ali's going to find him. But he's going to be taken out. Now it's a 4v3. The utility's coming in. Lighty's on the site. And this is the guy you want to watch out for. If you're trying to run onto this site, as they actually just use that utility, trying to perhaps bait the utility out from the side of St. Clair's. Ray just pokes out, and he finds two. He's able to even up the odds. Turn this into a 2v2. The bomb's still hand of Thrasher. Cookie's trying to push forward onto Connector. You know what? They might try to make their way towards this A bomb site. Players try so hard on that position not to make sound, and Thrasher just barely misses and makes some sound. He's going to walk out to the M4, and Cookie had no idea where their shots were coming from. Maybe that's the advantage of the silencer there. I'm not sure, as that is 6 on the board for UConn. As I said it, Corey, that was an important one, namely because this is such a heavy momentum-based team on the side of UConn. Getting another round on the board, specifically the first gun round, is going to give them the confidence they need to try to get this score a little bit more into their favor.
Sure. I mean, you also look at the way that they've got AK, or at least got a singular AK in the hands of Lighty, and then Splix has his op, and Splix's op is pretty good. Now look at that. That incendiary grenade has caused so much damage, and is still causing damage. And Zapper with a nice 1-dig. As Cookie also got one as well. I blinked, and Cookie immediately gets one himself. That's another one. And, man, the Deagles and Collegiate Counter-Strike are nutty.
I wonder if people practice Deagles and Collegiate, just specifically. Because I swear, this is the common denominator across every single team in this whole tournament, is that all of them can just be lights out and disgusting with a Deagle. As I say that, it is 12-7 in favor of St. Clair. That's on the back of 4 rounds in a row from UConn. As they now have the AWP in the hands of Splix, and that guy with that gun is very scary. They didn't really stand a chance against RMU, but he had an ace clutch against them, and that's a good team. Sure, they gave him one-on-ones all the way through, but Splix hit some nice shots along the way, and so you do not want this UConn team to be heating up as they go into their map pick of Nuke. Seems like Ray had an idea that maybe someone was towards that connector position. He just finds himself finding a new position. Assures that we've seen that smoke grenade from him so many times. He loves throwing that one.
Yeah,
He's gonna
quick counter on that with the molly. But the action's happening over here towards the A bomb site right now. Of course, that was Lighty over there towards B, but there's still more action here towards A as Concon takes down Ollie. And Q is on the flank. And there goes. They're just dropping one after the other. Now it's left up to Lighty, but Lighty in a 1-on-3, you just don't know. And Concon will get the upper hand. 13-7, as that's going to be the first round we're going to see coming in here for St. Clair in the second half.
Is absolutely right. We're seeing a pause now. So towards the end where we saw Ray disconnect, that was actually issues on his own personal account and not the server side. So we're pausing now.
This is a timeout. So
okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I made sure of as well. I'll be able to see how these players communicate with each other as well.
Well, it looks like it was a timeout. That was about the right time for it as we're getting into the match now. So thankfully, no issues coming out.
Yep.
That's the last of we want to see of it for the rest of this tournament. And here we go. Round number 21. They were able to stop the bleeding. That's 4 in a row is St. Clair. Got one on the board. They'll be going against 2 Deagles, a FAMAS, an AK, or excuse me, an UP, and a MP9. As all of these players are stacked towards connector and that B bomb site. It seems like every time we've seen a stack, except for one time, it has worked against the team stacking. And I think that was UTD when they stacked on the B site. And this time, well, look at that. St. Clair's going to be like, hey, there is no one here. Let's find which position we want to plant. And they're going to be quickly surrounded. But there are no kits for this side of UConn, and they're going to have to make this happen quick, as Splix has now lost that AWP. Lighty's at least found 1 kill for himself, but not able to follow it up, and is all left down to Lighty. The guy's been doing it all. He's on 13 and 15. Just add 1 kill and subtract 1 death, considering what happened at the very beginning. So he's having a fantastic game. And as you can see there, he knows the round's over. He's just showing off his sprays now at this point.
That's that spray right there off the flower is should go to the subreddit mildly infuriating because it's just
it's just off center,
just off.
Slightly off. That's actually what I thought.
Yeah, no,
well, I didn't think it, but I felt it.
Oh goodness!
I could feel it in me, like, why didn't you just go a little bit more?
Just aim,
please.
14-7. As now we can see them going ahead and mauling off over here, seeing if they can be able to get into a quick push here. That's going to allow Scherze to get into position again. Doesn't matter whether Scherze is on the CT side or the T side, he likes to play this position by sandbags. Uh-oh. Thrasher, you've got a challenge, and he will be challenged there by Lighty and Ray. But Lighty getting shot on the backside. He's out of the round now. As they are playing for tie point, that is UConn's goal here. They are not trying to win this round. I mean, of course, they'd love to, but they're not. They've not invested in this round. And Splix just keeps waiting for somebody to be able to flank him. It just doesn't come. And so 15-7. 1 round away for map number 1. Now, again, this is St. Clair's map pick here on Overpass. That will take us into Nuke, which is UConn's map pick. After if St. Clair can hit that number 16.
It looks like they've got all the momentum to do so now as we see some action towards Fountain, and that's a trade. As Splix was able to get away with his life, but just barely. He's now trying to hide himself away as Concon goes running by, letting him know he's got an idea that he's there, and he just pokes that anyways. He finds Cookie. Then meanwhile, Concon's like, I'm just going to leave you here and find the rest of your team. Now he's finally taken out, and then somehow this round has just unfolded the way it has to, a 2v2.
You got one player that's just right there inside of the bathrooms. That is Ray. Ray's got a UMP. He's got his camouflage on, and he peeks out, and Thrasher wins that one. Now we're going to see Lighty. Lighty has been definitely the top one here for UConn. And this bomb is planted for bathrooms. Just a throwaway flash. And he gave away his position, just wanted them to know exactly where he's going to be located at. Didn't want any unfair advantages. And we'll see if what Lighty can be able to do here. As Thrasher is the one holding here. And Lighty's just going to hold this angle and fall back.
He doesn't have a kit, so
Yeah, he has to start defusing now. Yep.
I just think that's it.
Yep.
Does he not realize it's the final round?
Yeah, it starts knifing the air, and there you have it. 16-7 there for St. Clair. That'll be one of those games that I will quickly delete from my memory.
Yep, what happened?
Exactly. 16-7 is what the number says down there at the bottom. We'll just trust that everyone has the right numbers there. So Uh, man, so there you have it. That's what an overpass is going to end up like, and so we'll let that one just go. There's a few things that definitely irk me a little bit in that game, but St. Clair does definitively they win it. That is just how that plays out for that game. And we'll see what happens. Now they're on a new server for both of these teams, and I think we're going to see a lot more cleaner play, not just random moments and just weird things happening in the game. That will take us into map number 2. We'll be heading to Nuke here as St. Clair has the lead 1-0. Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and the U.S. Army working together to make things better. We're back here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. We are heading into map number 2. We're on Nuke, as we'll see Yukon and St. Clair. We currently have St. Clair currently leading this one 1-0 in this best of 3. Whichever team loses out of this best of 3 will be sent home. And whatever team wins this one will be making it into our top 8 in this entire tournament.
Versus Kennesaw, if I do remember correctly. And that's going to be a tough match, as we saw Kennesaw taking it over Pittsburgh earlier today. And that was a nail-biter of a series. 2 overtimes in that one, barely edging it out in the last map of Dust 2. And that was absolutely an exciting series. So if one of these teams, I mean, either St. Clair or Yukon, I feel like they could put an equal as good performance looking forward. So after this series, if you're not excited enough for this match, I think that'll be another exciting match going into the following. But we're not done here, Corey. We're going straight into Nuke, and here we go into this pistol round. And this is the side that we know that Yukon is absolutely lights out. They love playing aggressive, and they are very much a momentum-heavy team. So let's see what they're able to do with it, Corey.
All right, so it looks like they're going to be heading over towards the ramp room. Zapper going to go ahead and backtrack. Now, there is one player that is already dropped down towards lower. That is going to be Scherze. Scherze trying to pop some shots. Now he's under a lot of gunfire. And Splix also won his bout against Cookie. And so now you can see Zapper trying to be able to go back and forth. Now it's going to be left up to Concon down to this 2-on-3. Currently already has the first 2 kills for his team. You can see how they're all holding all these angles, and this is going to be a tough one. They now know exactly where he's at, and they need to do a lot more team shooting, and that's what we're probably about to see here from these 2 players. They both peek at the same time. You can see there's no reason for them to continue to do this. He keeps baiting them out. There's no kit, and but Q will be able to finish this one off. He does get 3 kills in the round, but there you have it, Yukon being able to pick up the very first round, and just like that, we can see Q is on the board, and he's on the board early.
Yeah, I think it took us, he was 11-0. It took us a while to see Q get on the board, but if you're a fan of Yukon, you're glad to see that, and you're glad to see the MAC-10 in his hands, as we know how aggressive they like to be on this map, and that's an outside push coming from St. Clair, and maybe they didn't do their homework against Yukon. Yukon doesn't necessarily go for that. In this kinds of situations, they would not go for that outside play. They absolutely want to go fast, and they want to go through either A or straight through those vents, and that's what they chose to do this time, as Rays found one through the smoke. They've got a great setup for themselves, as Ray just finds another one. He's just getting easy picking here. It is an eco for the side of St. Clair, as it is the 2nd round on the board.
I don't know what St. Clair has decided to do here.
I was about to say, I don't know if they're trying to save these USPs.
I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, Concon, you've got, unless you're just trying not to give up $300 or $600 or $900 or whatever it is, like that's your goal. Sure.
I guess that's what it is.
That's
That's the only thing I could think of is that they don't want to give $600 per MAC-10 kill. So 2-0 on the board and an irregular round there for the side of St. Clair. Let me look back, Corey. As you talk through this match, I'm going to look through my notes and see if St. Clair has tried to ban out Nuke in this tournament.
Yep, so now we see Cookie, who's got himself a molly. It looked like he was about to be able to push through his own molly. But he is on top of Hut. Now the action is going to be heading over here towards Ramp Room. Zapper is going to have to hold his own, and he just can't. He caused a lot of damage to Lighty, but that's still not enough. As the bomb is already headed down. Look, this is what UConn does. They like to try to finish rounds fast, but Scherze is going to even this one back up. As he's still there. Oh, no. Scherze tries to run away, and right around, oh, goodness, another moment. It's exactly the same thing that Scherze just basically did, was switch to a different weapon. And Thrasher has gone up to heaven. And you see Concon, he's got himself an AWP.
And Concon's trying to avoid going to heaven, as he only has 2 HP. He's got himself very far out of the action now. And that's going to be 3 on the board for UConn. So, Corey, as I looked at my notes, it seems like St. Clair did not ban Nuke one time, and that's because their opponents did. And every other time they had the opportunity, they banned Nuke first or they banned it second. So we'll have to see how familiar St. Clair is with this map, and they have not played it in this tournament yet.
Well, UConn already doing what they do best, playing very aggressive, just straight in your face, and just taking over that upper bomb site. They love just attacking the bomb site. And so there we have it, the same routine, same song and dance. As there goes the bomb carrier. That was Lighty. I think Splix has already picked up the bomb there. And so they're going to force him out of position. And another smoke coming in. Oh my goodness, that was so close. I think Splix was just on the other side of those boxes, so it basically was what saved his life even that much further.
Poor Thrasher.
And Thrasher's like, what is going on?
I thought this was heaven. I'm in hell right now. He's getting burned every single time he tries to poke his head out.
Here comes the attack, but all of them are really low except for Zapper. There's going to be the pop flash. He's going to get some cover fire there. That's Ollie and Ray. And then they go, wait a minute, that's not good for us. And you can see them start to run away. And Ray just spraying around, saying that this we've got this bomb site, it is ours. And there you have it. So 4-0 now in favor of UConn.
I want to point something out there. That was a 5v4 retake in favor of St. Clair. And they got completely shut down at every single angle they tried to approach. Heaven was continuously fired off. And then they kept trying to go through Mini. Yep. And that was always smoked off with players ready at a crossfire. And they couldn't even get in. That looked like dust too.
Yep, they're baiting this one out this time. They're actually making them think that they were heading there towards upper again using this same exact nade set. And they end up not pushing there.
Now we see Zapper is that guy holding B ramp. We saw how UConn liked to play this one against MTU. They would kill one player at B ramp, and oh, nice shot there from Splix, and they would just run right in. They were like, well, we're going to commit to this. And they're going to commit to it now. There's not going to be a player on that lower side, as so much damage has gone down between Scherze and Cookie. And they're going to be too late to get onto this bomb site, as it has yet to be planted. They're going to open the door, and Ali's going to get caught. He didn't get the bomb down. And now that's a very awkward position to have the bomb go down, and they don't have the control of that position either. So Concon's just going to be able to hold there, but Splix just poking out of seemingly nowhere.
Yeah, he's got to close these doors.
He doesn't want to see it, but he might be caught again. His teammate just caught in that exact position. You can see him laying there. The bomb going down in almost the same spot as Thrasher is now by himself, as they're going to try for a third time. And he actually lied. He says, okay, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to open that door against me. So I think Thrasher might have seen him, but he made some noise. And Ray shooting him through the glass and getting number 5 on the board for them. So last time I believe it was a 9-0 before UConn was able to get anything. And now we see a pause coming through.
Yeah, we must be going through some, there might be some type of routing that is going on. Yeah, as I've seen both Ollie and then I saw Thrasher both go through some pretty heavy Heavy ping issues just now. Thrasher's currently going through it right now. This is just the world of online competitions. This is why CS got away from it.
It is unfortunate that we've gone through this tournament relatively unscathed, and then we get to the playoffs. Specifically today and yesterday, we've run into some of these issues a little bit more. And Corey, as you mentioned, it's just the nature of online tournaments.
It is.
We're playing to the hand that we're dealt right now. We're trying to do everything that we can, and it seems like these players feel comfortable trying to get back into the server, as they have unpaused and we are getting back into it. We're seeing an automatic shotgun in the hands of Zapper. Where is he playing from? He is actually the person playing at B ramp now. He's playing aggressive.
Goodness. Just how fast they're just dropping players. You can see ConCon upgrades to an AWP. But they did so much damage to Thrasher and ConCon. And Ollie just wanting to edge, get a better position here. And they weren't even paying attention to that smoke. And that's going to be the round. UConn 6 right now to St. Clair 0. And this may not be St. Clair's map. We talked about it. We know for a fact that this is UConn's map. There's no question about that one. They've got the same smoke, same nades, same everything every single time, regardless of which direction they go. That's the right way to play a map like Nuke. And oh no! The same nade, I said, but it doesn't really make a difference because here they are. They're going to have all of them going to be pushing up here, and that's going to be the round. As St. Clair said here, it's a gift. You can have it. It's also known as a round, 7-0.
Now, if you look on the flip side of St. Clair, we were talking about slow starts from Q. We see two players, Zapper and Cookie, 0, 5, and 1. Zapper's now actually taking the AWP. Cookie looks like he's playing from the top of that A bomb site, now on top of HUD. Hoping to find any picks that they can, as seems like UConn has slowed their roll. Oh, that's Thrasher actually, not Zapper. I can't read numbers. Okay, they're both playing at B ramp is where Thrasher, excuse me, Zapper was at. Action still continuing to happen across the map. These two players have fallen down as Thrasher takes his attention away at the worst possible time, and Q is going to try and hunt him down. They're playing this game of cat and mouse, and look at that. Thrasher's going to win it. He's going to get himself an AK for it, but in the meantime, the opposing team has pushed their way down to the B site. That's the AWP of Zapper. He's going to find one. Doesn't know that he's getting pushed forward by Ray. Bomb goes down. It's a 3v3. Zapper looks like he's just trying to get out of there. His team might have called for a save. That is a quick call, as Splix is hunting outside already. There goes that AWP. As Thrasher's already made his way into the T-spawn, and Cookie's trying to keep himself in safety, hoping that that box will be enough for him. Splix is right on the other side. He's going to poke out, or he's going to hear these footsteps, and he's going to get a little bit nervous. And oh no, the bomb exploding was just enough to take him out. And that's 8 on the board for UConn as we see another pause. Is this a timeout or a pause?
This is a tactical timeout. So,
okay.
Which we'll after this, if there is a third map, if necessary, which we look like we're on the trend of, we'll talk with the teams, make sure they understand how to do a tactical timeout. Because right now that's what this is. It's just a tactical.
Which team called this timeout?
I believe it was St. Clair this time. I think it was Scherze that I'd seen.
Okay.
Had called it. So last time it was UConn whenever we were on the other side, but we'll keep track of that.
And if there was ever a time they needed to call one, it's definitely now. It's 8-0, Corey. This is exactly what we expected to see of UConn. And we expect to see a little bit more life of that in the first map there. But this is exactly the game that they are wanting to play here on Nuke. And if I have to make any assumptions, if they're playing like this on Nuke, And we know how comfortable they are on Inferno. This could be a quick series, but now they are just bouting in that A bomb site. Able to come out on top. That's the playstyle UConn loves to see. Running in there, getting aggressive, taking all the gunfights, winning the gunfights. Winning them with 2 people going down to the 4 of St. Clair. Thrasher's now finding himself in a 3-on-1 retake situation. He's going to find the AWP of Splix. Doesn't want to take the shot just yet. And hey, that's a knife. We haven't seen one of those in a very long time. And he's going to be glad to get that. He's got an extra $1,000 in his pocket.
Yeah, well, they know where he's at. And they definitely know where he's at now.
Wow, something I wasn't actually paying attention to. Look at the money on the side of UConn.
Oh, this is what we've seen every time they've been on Nuke.
That's so much, Corey. All of them above 10,000 throughout this entire tournament.
They're all above 14,000.
Well, they're going to buy now.
But they're all above 14,000. You said 10,000.
Yes. Semantics.
I'm just letting you know that it's a lot more. Trying to validate your statement. You won't even let me. The one time I try to be positive, that's what you get.
That was, okay, whatever. Yes, Corey, you're right. How about that?
Trying to validate your statement.
That is absolutely correct, Corey. It's 9-0 on the board for UConn, and they're going to find themselves in a 4v5 situation. I don't think they're actually going to be sweating that one too much. I think they just want to continue playing the game that they're playing, and that is take fights, be aggressive, hit bomb sites, continue, and repeat. 9-0, why wouldn't you?
We've seen Ray check that exact spot over and over again. More importantly, you will never see another St. Clair player play that position because they can see the bullet holes through the hut, and they go, yep, that would have been a dome. So UConn, they've decided this one round to slow it down, and Q peeked out of the door, and he's actually going to fall after that. Cookie got 2, but Splix catching him as he hits the space bar. Gonna be a good little smoke, but right around the corner in Ray's position before, and he does take some fire there. Now you can see them go ahead and rotate. It is down to a 2-on-3. Oh no, gravity is not your friend. And Splix playing that super smart. 20 seconds here in the round. And you can see he's going to go ahead and try to get this bomb planted. There's going to be one player on the opposite side of the door. He goes, and Splix covers him again. As now it's down to this 2-on-1. It was a 2-on-3. And Concon with an AWP in hand. It's a nice skin, but is it going to be what's going to help him win this? No, it is not. 10-0 in favor of UConn. And so just like that, we haven't seen a lot of UConn on other maps. The only time we ever saw UConn on another map, it was on Inferno, and they played against RMU, and they got destroyed. But UConn on Nuke, I think we know their favorite map.
Well, UConn also played on Inferno, and that's where we kind of had that storyline of Ray and Q. That's where that started. They played fantastic on that B bomb site, and we had only great things to say about them.
You're right.
So now as we see, Scherze is able to pick off one, and this is the same situation we saw last time. It was a 4v5. UConn didn't care, and now it seems like Splix still doesn't care. He's finding picks left and right. He is so sharp with this AWP, and just like that, it's down to a 4v1. The last player being Concon. He's going to find one nice shot there onto Ali, and he's got nice control of that deagle, but not able to close it out, as it's 11-0. UConn was the team that 16-0'd against Oklahoma State, and we're on track to see another one.
Yeah, this late in the tournament to see one of those, that would be something.
I don't feel like Nuke is one of those maps where it could happen, just given the nature of it. But if we're seeing a team like UConn coming out so strong in this T side, you got to wonder if St. Clair is just... I mean, they're obviously getting outbeat here on just like every single gunfight, it seems like. As I say that, Concon wins one against Q, as the rest of the team is just running down Secret.
Yeah, it's a 3-on-5. And Q is hurting right now. But look at that. Leidy has gotten himself 2. Those are 2 big kills. And just like that, a quick turn of events. Went from a 3-on-5 to a 3-on-2, just like that. And Zapper taking some nade damage. He's down to 39 HP. And he gets hit by that flashbang, which, just missing just high. And now Scherze, he's going to get taken out of the round. Lighty with 4 kills in the round, 12-0 now. I think St. Clair probably wants to hit the fast forward button to get us to map number 3.
I would think so, too. It's 12-0. Nuke and Yukon, the most iconic duo we have seen in this tournament.
Yep.
They love this map. This
Salt
is their
and pepper.
home. This is
Sugar and spice.
absolutely where they love to play, and it is showing us why against St. Clair. And you got to just remind yourself, we're this far in the tournament. Whoever wins this goes into the top 8. They're doing this to a tough competitor.
Yeah, the final 8 out of this tournament will be left alive. We'll have 4 in the upper bracket, we'll have 4 in the lower bracket. As Con takes out Q without contention there.
Every single time, St. Clair has started off on a 5v4. I think the last 3 rounds. And even last round before that, it was a 3v5. And they still win. That's what I'm saying. Yukon just loves this map. And look at that fight there from Lighty. Able to take down Thrasher from above. And that's not normally a fight you see winning in the favor of the T side. But, of course, Yukon's able to make it work. As they're setting up now, looks like Ray wants to run up there with a Tech 9. I'd be curious to see if he actually goes with that weapon. Yeah, I didn't think so. Lighty setting up here for a Molotov to land on top of Hut.
Just making
sure the glass.
Just making sure. As that does fall on top of Hut, as you mentioned. Now they're going to be pushing out there. They didn't expect Con to be that close. And they have taken over this bomb site. And Zapper and Cookie are both coming from heaven. They know they heard at least one, and then they both come out, and oh no, Splix unscopes at the wrong time. And he takes a little fall damage.
Doesn't have a kit. That's the important thing here.
Or smoke or anything to really leverage here.
Is that a decoy?
Yeah, it is a decoy. That's all he had.
Hey, that's going to be it. And that might actually be the round. I think he's got the time.
He's got time.
Yeah, he's got the time. You are absolutely right, Corey. All right, well, they stopped the bleeding at 12.
Yep, 12-1.
Just to pick himself an AWP. Look at that, though. 16,000, 10,000. Oh, my gosh. So much money. They're going to have enough money for the rest of the half. They could lose the rest of the rounds. It's almost like it's overtime for these guys. 12-1 in favor of Yukon. As look at that, even St. Clair, they win the round and they can't even get upgraded rifles. They've got a FAMAS and a Scout. Just to add insult to injury.
Well, they've also been taking them out every single round. I mean, and they narrowed it down to just one player. So yeah, they had to having to buy. But Scherze with the Scout on the outside, and he'll get quickly taken out. There's a quick trade between the two. Ray has gotten 2 in this round, but he is down to 8 HP. Let's see, you got Ollie and Q. Zapper's going to go ahead and watch the flank here. But there is one player heading here towards ramp. That is Q. And just like that, trying to be able to get the angle, they both kind of try. But remember, Ray was down to 8 HP. But he does cause a lot of damage as Thrasher is now down to 19. Q is going to have to figure out something here, though. The bomb, I believe, is in the A-bomb site. As Q has been spotted. That flashbang come around, a nade to follow. He now knows exactly where he's at and plays the angle perfectly. 45 seconds left here in the round. Now he also knows that where the other player is located, at least in a general vicinity.
He was even able to pick up a smoke on his way. So he's going to use that. He's going to clear off Squeaky and advance forward.
28 seconds here in the round. Could drop all the way down towards Vent with this bomb. He sees it, and he's picked up the bomb. He's now headed down here towards the lower side. Now he can immediately probably hear Con also do the same. So Con pulls out his knife so he can walk just that much faster. Getting some mall walking skills, and he closes the door. That's a huge sign for Con, and Q still wins the gunfight, 13-1.
A nice 1v2 clutch there. I think Thrasher had a little bit better of a chance, but he just sat in the corner, threw a flash grenade, threw an HE, and then threw another flash, and the whole time you could just see the throwing animations as we're going to see it again as he just completes it there. And that's a nice shot there onto Concon to get 3 for the round and 13 on the board for UConn. And they're just going to close this one out quickly. They're going to break down the door, and they're going to walk in. Actually, they're going to stop right outside of it.
Yeah, this is what they've done they've broken that door every single round. That's why this strat is so effective, is that you force them to have to watch that angle. You force them to have to shut that down. And then at that point, you could just choose when you like to use it. And so they'll go ahead and get the bomb planted here inside of the smoke. It is now down to a 2-on-4. Thrasher and Scherze, as Thrasher's realizing that there was a molly there. So he's unable to go down the vents. Or sorry, down the ladder there. Now you can see, and Thrasher's out of the round. Lighting now is, he's been playing really, they're having too much fun. And they may, there it is. There's the nade. And that's his second kill, which actually ends up putting him at 14. Ray ends up on top of the board with 17. Look at all those, as you mentioned, the avatars there.
I've never seen that before, where someone just breaks a hole in the door and they just pokes it. Here's Johnny! That was so funny. Goofy looking. Well, so is the scoreline, Corey. It's 14-1. You don't see that very often. If we would have caught that match earlier today with Purdue and Northeastern, we would have seen a 16-2.
We would have.
Seems like UConn's trying to do themselves one better against St. Clair here, as he's gonna hit a shot against one, and he's gonna call for the troops to help him out, as they are just quickly running into that B bomb site. He's not able to run fast enough.
He's
met with a bullet in the back of the head by Cookie, and now they're on the site. Lighty's gonna open the door. He's gonna find 3. Oh no, that's not the door I wanted to open. Now it's down to a 1v5 as Q. We know he loves this map, but I'm sure he doesn't love the situation he's in, as they're about to just take that bomb right on that site and leave it there, as there was nothing Q could do about it. 2-14. What a mountain they have to climb is St. Clair. Getting that pistol round's at least the start they're looking for.
We'll see. Last time on an overpass, that was a 12-3 scoreline for St. Clair. This time it was a UConn coming at it 14-1 on the first half here. So see how the scoreline ends up in the end. You can see full save coming in for UConn. I think they bought one flashbang or something, because I'm seeing Lighty at 1,700. I guess, well, yeah. So just getting dropped. Wow. Yeah, you can see that was Q right there, who found Thrasher. And Scherze picking up one. Ray's gonna go, hey, I'm here. And he's caused some damage. Oh my goodness. Where was this in the pistol round? I guess at the door. Yeah. The door is rough. Kept opening the door and it was the wrong door. Now we're back to the doors again. Oh, this is a tough angle here. He's got one that's going to be right here to the right. He's not going to pay attention to it.
Well, he does at the wrong moment. It's just he finds out that is an impossible angle to win.
Hey, Ray still wants to play this.
Hey, why not? They had an eco, and maybe he's just trying to deal some damage. Well, he did exactly that, but he doesn't get a kill out of it. Loses that AK, as you said, Corey, and 14-3. St. Clair they begin the marathon.
Yeah, so they're doing exactly what I would want them to do. So they're just buying a couple CZs. They're just going to make some impact plays. And then after that, they're going to buy going into round number 19. So we'll see some AKs coming out still for St. Clair. And Scherze has found Splix on the outside. And now Ray, here's one coming in. And just like that, Scherze is out of the round. And Zapper comes through the door. He's getting himself 2, and Lighty with the deagle here. He's also got an AK. Now, anything is possible, as it looks like they might actually go down secret as well Oh, goodness. That could have been really good for Lighty if you would have met him down the ramp room. But he decides to go up the rafters. Oh, no, backtracks. I think he might be able to hear some footsteps heading down there towards the lower bomb site. He is going to challenge this one. And that helps force it where they only have to worry about one angle. As he does a quick check, he knew for a fact there wasn't a player to the right. And so little by little, he's going to continue to check all of these angles. He does not have a kit. So Ollie must have told him, let's be real for a moment. That AK is nice to have. And so he's just going to go ahead and save this behind the ramp box. And the score is going to be 14-4 now. And so we'll be seeing a really solid buy coming out for UConn. So just another round. So again, for those joining us, St. Clair's got a 1-0 lead in this map count. They won that on overpass 16-7. And now we're going to see our first real gun round here in the second half.
This is where we expect to see UConn showing signs of life here. Is we know they are so strong on the CT side of the map. We didn't have to see very many CT sides of the map for them. Did I say CT twice? What I meant was we know they're strong on the T side, and they can absolutely have great things to show for them on the CT side. We just haven't seen it so far, as they haven't had to quite prove it, as their T sides have just been so impactful. Now, as it looks like, as I have that whole monologue, is two players have gone down in the form of Lighty and Ali. Ooh, that's a gap in Splix. That's all he needs. We know how lethal this guy is. Q's not able to find one in time, but now he knows where all of them are at. That's going to give Splix the time to try and rotate in. He's going to feel confident behind that, the call from his teammate. Man, they have got so many positions to work with. Look at that. They just have every angle covered. They even have ramp. UConn has just got all of the positions they could ask for, and there's Splix taking out Cookie, and now is left is Zapper. In a very difficult situation, and there you go. He gets taken out, and that is 15 for UConn. 15-4 now as the score line. As you can see on the side of St. Clair, the money's not great. They're going to have to force everything out that they possibly can, and it still might not be enough as they get AKs in on at least all the players.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
I was looking at the top half of the scoreboard. I think one player was on like 1,400, and I guess under that there were some players who had enough. Ooh, Q misses the jump and then lands on the fire as his punishment. As it looks like they're about to come out of B ramp, and oh, Ali is shutting them down. Lighty's there to join him. Ali is able to reload, and as there's all jumping down into his grass, he's going to close that out with an ace, because why not? Cementing that this was our map pick. This is what we wanted to do, and this is how we want to close it out. 16-4. Ali closing it out with an ace, and Corey, woo, that was dominant.
Wow, 16-4 going there for UConn. So that's going to bring us into map number 3. And we'll see how this one plays out. That's going to be on Inferno. We're going to take a quick break right here from Esports Stadium. Inferno coming up next. Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational is brought to you by the U.S. Army. More than 150 careers. Find your What's Your Warrior best fit at goarmy.com. We're back here at Esports Stadium, Arlington. We're heading into map number 3. Whichever team loses this is going to go home. Both of our first two maps were strange. They were a little unusual. The first one had its own issues. The second one was all UConn nuke that we've seen come out of the woodworks time and time again. 14-1 was that first half score, 16-4 final map score. And so that's going to bring us into this one. Coming up next is Inferno. I'm looking forward to this, though. I think both of these teams are going to be able to come out and play very, very strong. We will decide which team will start on which side due to the knife round. And so we'll see how that one plays out. But, John, if you were going to tell somebody in a short snippet about this series, what would you tell them?
I don't even know where to start. I mean, I'm trying to think through that first map. We've wiped that out of our memory, and then the second map was just dominance from UConn. I mean, we expected to see that to some extent. We knew that they were really strong. We knew that they were going to have a strong T side, but 14-1 T side, I don't think either of us were expecting that. And so a 16-4 scoreline, it spoke for itself. They played the exact game they wanted to, and going into Inferno, we haven't seen St. Clair on Inferno throughout this tournament. The only match we've seen them on is Mirage, Overpass, Dust 2, Train, now Nuke, and then now will be Inferno. And so we know how strong UConn can be, and this has just been a completely irregular series, so I'm expecting a very irregular result in this last round, last map.
Yeah, there's so many different types of options that we can take here, and one of which we're currently working through right now, allowing my admins to take this because I actually don't even remember my own rule book anymore, of whether or not we're allowing substitutes in the middle of the series. So we're working through those details right now. I don't see an issue with it.
Like at halftime?
No, not at
just
halftime.
Whenever.
Well, right here before we hop into our third map.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean.
So
okay.
I don't have any issues with it. I just can't remember how it was written. Of course, whatever we had wrote in our rule book in the very beginning, there's pages and pages and pages of rule book that we went through. And I do recall we did mention something in relation to this. I just can't recall where we ended up because my gut reaction is there shouldn't be an issue with it. But I'll allow the admins to be able to take those and to be able to answer that for them. Again, that's St. Clair that wants to have a substitute. Again, I don't have any gut reaction to it being a problem, but we'll see how that one plays out.
Do we know for which player?
We do not, no.
Okay.
So we'll get more information. Just based off of what we see in the server right now, we've got Shurzay, Zapper, Cookie, and Concon. So Thrasher would be the one that I'm seeing right now, based off of just the players that are in the server and the one player that is not. So we'll find out that information here as well. This is we're probably also going to need to have the game also start up too. That's the problem, is because if we allow this to be any longer, then at that point we'll have to deal with another detail here. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the upper bracket while we have a chance, and kind of give a little bit more information about where we're at in the tournament and how this has all been playing. You can see, again, this is what we're going to be looking forward to seeing this matchup, which will be coming directly after this one. So RMU versus VCU, that will be our final map of the night, so it's just a best of one. That will determine who is in the winner bracket finals. So that matchup is going to be our first winner bracket semifinal match. And so we'll find out about that one here shortly. But John, kind of talk us through the rest of that bracket.
Yeah, like you mentioned it, RMU versus VCU, that's the one we're going to see later. But if we could go to the lower side of this upper bracket, I want to look at that match that we've got on Saturday. There you see it, Rochester versus UCF. That's going to be a very exciting match. As you can see, as the predecessor to that match was UCF versus Kansas State. Kansas State put up a fight. That was on Inferno. That was the series. That was still to the matches we've even seen. That was my favorite match of this entire tournament. It had everything. Had absolutely everything. Crazy shots, crazy comebacks, crazy clutches. I mean, you name it. That was the match that delivered everything you'd want to see. Rochester on the flip side, when they played against Northeastern, they pretty much just took it to town. They played on train, and they played a very solid game. And we have seen Northeastern, unfortunately, exit our tournament. So Rochester was the beginning of their exits, and they've been looking very sharp leading into some of these matches. Farrell's come alive. We see MJB be so strong with that AWP. So I think that UCF Rochester match tomorrow is a must-watch. And as we're done discussing that, we're going to go down to the lower bracket, and let's see what we've seen shaking up now. So the winner of this side, I believe, as this side I'm meaning UConn versus St. Clair, they will go against Kennesaw. If we could get the lower bracket here in just a second, that will be going against Kennesaw, as we know that Purdue actually might be the following series.
All right. Yeah.
So I was just giving it some time, was not wanting to say anything that was untrue. So here we go. As I was saying, the Kansas State match, that was determined after we saw today Purdue. We didn't get to catch the first match just because it was so fast in the schedule. We weren't able to keep up with that due to the double overtime, the two matches that went into overtime. So that is Purdue moving forward against Northeastern, which will allow them to play against Kansas State. Kansas State's a very strong fundamental team, and we've been talking about Purdue and even saying things of the likes that maybe Shot Up's the only guy in that team who's able to do work, but today they were absolutely proving us wrong. We saw Cyber stepping up. We saw Noosty stepping up, and I mean overall just great team play. We know Eli's been doing pretty good, and Fresh even on the other side has been playing great with his team. So overall, Purdue is a pretty solid around-the-board team, As we go on the other side of that lower bracket, that's where we see Kennesaw. They took it over Pitt today. That was the series that took us overboard. That was the series that got us off a schedule, in fact. So that was the series we saw 2 overtimes, and that was a great series. Kennesaw was able to move on just barely, as with the last map on Dust 2 was 19-5. And we're watching it now. The winner of this series that we're watching, UConn versus St. Clair, will move on to fight Kennesaw tomorrow at 1 p.m., which is the current schedule. But as Corey's always mentioned, is the times we see here are tentative based on we work with all the other teams to make sure we want to make sure we're aligned to as much scheduling as we can. And as we're getting closer and closer to the end of this bracket, we're finding we can't be as flexible as these matches
Saturday
need
and
to
Sunday are pretty not flexible. It's just for the reality. We had actually been talking about it behind the scenes. If you look at it, if we swapped, because the only way we can actually even fix this now is because we have different teams waiting for other teams. So you can't just say we'll play it later. That just can't happen because that means all the other matches are also adjusted to that. But if we swapped, for example, we swapped the times from the L3A and the L3B. A team may have to start at 10 a.m. and then not finish their next match at 8 p.m., like play their next match at 8 p.m. We'd never do that to a team. And the vice versa, a team may start at 1 p.m. and then immediately after that have to play in another best-of-3 series. We would not do that either, just because from pure competition integrity. So tomorrow and absolutely Sunday, the schedule is pretty hard and true. But we're also talking about we're starting to get into the money at that point. But all the other days, we've definitely been fighting our way with each of these teams to make sure these schedules work the way they were. That's why today's schedule has been very kind of all over the place, and yesterday's schedule was all over the place, is because we are really trying to accommodate for the teams. But we're now in the Saturday, Sunday, only 2 days left in this tournament.
Crazy. That is so crazy to think about.
Yep.
It feels like we've been standing in this position this whole time even. It's weird to think that we've actually even moved the desk. We didn't always have this backdrop.
Right.
We were over there.
Yeah, I had to get you a better backdrop. Every time that we were cutting
you had to give me this one.
We were cutting to a different shot, and it was just the curtain. We had to splash some light up against it.
Yeah, so Corey got the backdrop of everything that you got to see here. If we could just go back and take the overall view, I want to show everyone the backdrop that I got before when we were in group play. Okay, so see, this is the great shot. You can still see the stage behind me. I can get excited. It looks great in the background. It even looks so good. It's like a green screen. This is what Corey got.
Yep.
Now, if you look all the way over there where the stage ends and it's just dark, that's what I had. That's what I had to work with.
You had to earn it.
I had to earn it, really?
Let's be
Corey,
real. I mean,
Corey gave me a little bit
you had to earn your rights. You've never casted Counter-Strike before this tournament.
I guess I have to earn my camera time back, too, as it's just you. Oh, hey, at least I got to make it to the shot now. But
yeah,
if those who recall, during group stage, I had the drapes behind me, the curtains, and it was just a yellow light. So you saw, like, the waves and everything. As Corey called it, I got the playground background. I got the kindergarten while Corey's getting the university, so –
Absolutely.
We like to have fun here on the broadcast.
Yep, we are working through the substitution, so we'll have one of the players actually join in. I went ahead and gave the approval as well, so they'll be able to join in. But of course, through that allotted time, we've then had to we actually went outside of our queue time, and so that we're going to be building out our server queue system again. So it's going to be a best of one. Then it'll just get us to that situation. That's why we haven't been missing any action. We're just waiting for the players to get back into it. We'll get connected into the server, and we'll be able to rock and roll. So UConn says we are in the queue, so they are ready to go. So that's a good sign.
So with that, we have the substitution.
We do. We will have the sub.
Okay.
The sub will come in there, and that's I believe it's Gub. I think is the name. But
do we know for which player?
We do not. So we'll get that confirmation. It looks like it, as I look at the Discord, I do not see Thrasher in the server.
Ooh.
So Thrasher is the one that has left the server, and we also have to be mindful. It's there's so many different things that are going on in these players' lives. Not just school. I mean, this is a collegiate CS:GO invitational. It's not just what they're doing in college, but it's also they could be working. There's so many different scenarios that we've ran into throughout this tournament, and that's where we're adjusting for through it and throughout. But let's take a look at some of the highlights that we've seen throughout these matchups, and this was a big moment there. As you can see, Thrasher there, and that's the player that we're not going to see going into later on. But here's some really good moments that came through this game. But this is Nuke. I mean, Nuke is like UConn. I think if you look, you can basically shuffle the letters in UConn and you end up with Nuke. So
Well, depends on how you want to look at it.
It's knock.
Yeah, you might have to scratch some letters as well, but I don't know where the O is supposed to go in all of that
Knock.
equation. But
It's good a D knock. That's close enough. That's okay. All right, I'll let that one slide. Yes, I know it was not that good.
I was trying to help you. I was trying
No,
to
I
just
know,
somewhere along the
know.
lines as a John O. I'm very much appreciative of all the O's that I can get. So you excluding that one, Corey, is a little offensive to me. But if Thrasher's not going to be in the series on a more serious note, Thrasher's been a guy who's been very consistent for his team, and so him being down, I'd imagine that has to be something personally or something score-related. Schedule doesn't line up, but that is going to hurt. We've seen him all the way through as this team, and like I said, he's either been like the top fragger or he's been like the top 3 for his side.
Yeah, John, are you ready for the next matchup after this one, though? We're going to have RMU versus VCU. That's going to be a quick best of one. It's going to be a good one. I mean, we've seen some really, really, really good games, and that's going to be a really fun one.
Oh, absolutely. And A-Track is actually going to join us for that one as well. So the TriCast for the last match of the day.
He's been sleeping for a while, too.
Yeah, lucky him.
Taking a nap.
We've barely been sleeping. I feel like that I've been at this desk forever. I go home, I wake up, and I'm already here. It's just like, yeah. I sleep, I just wake up. Oh, hey, Corey, sorry, are we on?
It's weird because that happened last map. All right, so I'm just playing. All right, so we're still waiting for these guys to get into the server. We'll go ahead and take a quick break while we're waiting for these guys to get into the server. Once we're back, we'll just go ahead and hop directly back into the game. We don't want to have to fill for too much long for you guys. We're not influencers. We're not crazy personalities. I'm not going to bore you with some of that stuff. We're really good voiceover guys. We're not content creators. But my team is. My team are content creators. So, John's basically cracking himself up. We'll let him laugh this one out. We'll be back here in just a moment with map number 3. We're heading to Nuke. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. We're heading to Inferno. We'll be back after this. And we are back right here at Esports Stadium Arlington as John, he gets excited every time we come back. That's always the case.
You just don't see it, but that time
he just likes to throw it.
He said 3, 2, 1, and I was pointing at around 1, and then it just cut to it. So, hey, we're going to just go into the match and forget that happened. So there comes the knife round. This one actually decides which side the teams are going to be playing on. So this is an important one. It seems like UConn has not won that one. So if you're St. Clair, you need some momentum. You just got 16 forward on Nuke. You need every little advantage you can, so there is no surprise we're going to see him here on the CT side.
Yeah, I think actually we probably would have saw UConn probably select the T side on this map too, just based off of play style alone. But here we go, map number 3. I was actually pretty hopeful. I was hoping that we'd get to map number 3 in this matchup because I think this will be the one that actually does it for us. All right, so let's see how this one's going to be able to start up here. They actually don't even press anywhere. This is actually the same boost setup that we saw last time from UConn. They set up over there towards Banana. We missed that just a second ago. Now we can go ahead and see they start to walk their way here towards the B bomb side. The bomb carrier is still over there on T Ram. They have a smoke, a molly. They have 2 smokes, a molly, and 2 flashbangs on this execute.
Oh,
and on the flip side, you've got Gub.
Yeah, he's got a picture, too. They were ready for him to come in.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just a random sub. It's something that we were part of the roster from day one, so that's why I allowed it.
Well, we're seeing some action here towards mid as Q's going to find the opening pick, and he's going to charge right through because why not? That is exactly his play style. He's going to find 2, and oh, that's a nice shot there from Cookie. They didn't expect him to be there. He's going to find a second before he runs out of bullets, and there it is. That's the bomb site going down. UConn already getting the first bomb in this first round, getting planted as Q finds himself a third. Con has got it all to do as that smoke has got a wide gap, and he's not able to find the shot. Ooh, Q wanted the ace there. He had 4 kills to his name, and now Con's going to have to do a 1v3 clutch. He sees one of them, and that is the headshot position, I like to call it, because the only thing you can see is each other's eyes. But UConn starting off hot and starting off well. They get the bomb down, and they get the first round from themselves. Number 1 on the board, and Corey, as we call it, championship point map.
Yeah, no, this map is definitely one of those maps that always ends up being the final map out of the best of 3 or the best of 5, and it's what it always comes down to. I've referenced it as the championship map, but let's go ahead. You see the stack. Oh, no. This could not end well for UConn, or it's just going to be a complete demise from St. Clair. This is be the first time that we've seen this work, and they get so excited about it, and they lost the bomb. And now he's going to be able to pick this up. But, oh, my goodness, Scherze. Oh, there's Q. As Q has been able to pick up 3. And Ollie's like, guys, you saw what?
You know, Corey, we can check that one off the bingo board.
We can definitely check it off the list.
So many times it hasn't worked as Ollie, who's not able to get the transfer.
That
and
should
Cookie.
that should not be working.
Well, hey, it's going to work, and they're going to be happy about that because we've seen this so many times where a team loses the pistol round, tries to do something desperate, and I just want to see the angle. There it is. They just get the firing ranges. There's nothing funnier as when they turn the corner and then you just see 5 people, and it's like that, like you said, the solid snake sound. There we go. That's going to reset the economy on the side of UConn. They are on an eco. And that Molotov, I have a feeling, is not going to stop Q. Okay, well, I had the wrong feeling, but he's still going to go forward. As soon as that dissipates, they're going to get the utility down. As you see, the smokes are going down.
Wow.
Here they come, sprinting in. Q's so happy he even finds his teammate. That doesn't matter, though. They're still going to find the bomb site as they're just getting them situated, and they're getting onto the site. They're just
They
walking.
need to get that bomb planted.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. Lighty's actually looking to get the pick here. Oh, okay. Well, he has the deagle, and hey, you'll take that. But you still want to get the bomb down. They're getting the smoke. They're getting themselves set up. Q was able to get an M4 somewhere in that picture. And there goes the bomb. Scherz is able to find one, and Q's at only 11 health. He's going to find the person. Drops down, but can't fall down in time. He actually falls down and out of the round, as that is the second on the board for St. Clair. And Corey, I can feel it. I can feel the momentum shipping back and forth. This is going to be a good game. I have got a feeling that this is going to be a really good game.
Well, that's what we wanted. We wanted it to come down to a final map. We want to see this map go the distance. We've seen a lot of gameplay today, a lot. And so we'll see how this one's going to start up here. You got Deagles that are coming out here for UConn. They've got all their players are going to start heading up here towards mid. They don't like to slow down, as that nade is going to be nice and heavy. And Scherze caught the first. And Gub, who's, of course, just now joining us, has got himself 2 kills here in the round, and that's going to do it.
You know, Corey, we haven't seen any Inferno coming out from St. Clair at all in this tournament, so we have nothing to base this off of. We do know they play a solid Mirage, and so that gives us some inclinations of how they would play this map. But I think the most important part here is we can assume that based on how we've seen them play, they should have a strong CT side. What it really is going to come down to is their T side. I think if UConn could get, like, I want to say 5 or 6 on the board, 5 probably being the lowest I think I'd feel comfortable with. If they can get through that wall, which is Q and Ray on that B side, that is what we're going to need to watch for. So if I'm St. Clair here, I'm thinking I need to get to like 9 or 10 at the least to have our best chance possible.
Yeah, if you get, of course, you want from a map like Inferno, you want to get that 9-6 score line. That's where it's pretty standard. But if you get that 10-5, you absolutely feel really good about it. And so now you can see they're having a little scuffle over there on the opposite side in the window room. There's one player that was under porch, that was Scherze, and I know they kind of heard one another. That's why they've been kind of moving back and forth. Yeah, Scherze now has got himself a position. You've got Cookie that's right there inside of pit.
But this isn't the play style that lends itself to UConn. I mean, we already see Q, he's at 9 kills, just being quick and aggressive. And I would say all the times we've seen UConn play, when they have to play slow, like a map like Overpass, right? That does not seem like a UConn kind of map where they can't just run in. Here they go running on in, and of course, Q's going to be the first one to find the kill. As they're going to go towards Arch, and now they're deciding whether they want to wait for the Molotov or go to B, but they are just going to wait for the Molotov. They've already got set Molotovs going down, and they are going to absolutely burn the site alive. As Cookie's still in pit, that flash just doesn't hit the mark, and he's still holding down that position, smartly waiting for the rest of his team before he tries to take these picks. As all 3 of them, oh, there's 4 of them, excuse me. 3 of them are on site, and one of them's playing towards truck. Cookie's still there, and he's still doing damage. They're still not trying to contest them by any means. I guess they don't have really any reason to, but Zapper's able to pick up Splix. They're able to turn this into 2v2. Cookie gets in a more aggressive position, and that's going to take it out. They had to deal with Cookie, but they didn't want to. They just left him there and said, okay, you know what? He eventually has to come to us, but he brought his teammate with him, and that's going to get 4 on the board for St. Clair.
Yeah, no, Cookie played that really, really well, hanging out in pit and never contested. They even took a while to try to get the bomb planted, and they never tried to clear out pit or check any other angle before they did that. They basically all just hung out inside of the site, and at that point, you saw how well UConn was able to take over the bomb site. And that's how easy it is for a team to be able to come into a bomb site without having to check a bunch of other angles. And so St. Clair, more importantly, Cookie playing it well, but Concon plays aggressive and shuts down 2, and that's going to drop 2 quick weapons. And Inferno just, right now, UConn is not playing a good T-side Inferno.
It looks like they're just not feeling like themselves. That's a funny scoreline we see as Q's 10-6. Immediately under his Splix, 0-6. So, I mean, for Q, that's what we'd expect. That guy likes to play fast. Anytime this team of UConn has to slow down, or they're not doing team hits and they're not doing aggressive actions, or really just doing hits together, is where we're starting to see some of their T-side strategies not come to life exactly. And so we see here, Lighty, he's been on fire this series. I wouldn't be surprised to see him swing out here and find the kill on the Scherze, as they're going to smoke off the other side, so they only have this side to watch. So let's hold on with Lighty, and there he goes. Actually, losing that fight is all he's able to trade at least. But they need to start winning these fights right out, as now it's all down to Ali. He's the last one remaining. That grenade might hit him. It does, and it gets him down to 6. Ouch. He has nowhere to run, because if you see on the other side, Concon was going to go for the flank eventually, but he doesn't even need to, as Cookies made himself up to 11 kills so far.
Yeah, the St. Clair has got a really good CT side so far. You can see them trying to basically transfer over some weapons to one another. And so we'll pay attention to this one. You got 4 Tech 9s and a Deagle on Lighty. You should suspect it is a B rush. Here comes the mollies over the top. See if that does it. Oh my goodness, Splix took 91 damage, and they still don't pressure through. And guess what? There's a quick flank that's happening right now. You've got one. That's Scherze right behind them as they're going to go ahead and start to hit towards. This is going to be a good nade if he already gets it off. He will not, and Splix gets his first kill in the game. And quickly after that, he is taken out. And now it's left up to Lighty. Lighty in a 1-on-3. It still could be a winnable situation. He's going to be able to peek out, and Scherze has the angle. 6-1. UConn won the pistol round, but ever since then, ever since the Astralis 5-man stack inside of pit, it's been St. Clair ever since.
That utility usage from St. Clair, just to even force him out of the position there, was perfect. I mean, really, St. Clair, they have stepped up their game here. They've realized what's on the line here. They realize that they have their backs against the wall. I mean, in the same position that UConn is equally has their backs against the wall. And I mean, Corey, at the very beginning of the day, I said these lower bracket teams, some of the lower seeded teams, excuse me, they don't really have a chance against some of these upper teams. We've seen so many good performances against the likes of UConn, the likes of Kennesaw, the likes of Northeastern. Northeastern fell. Kennesaw struggled against Pitt. And now we see St. Clair is struggling against UConn as Concon's got himself in a pretty good position. It seems like they're just trying to bait out the utility as the bomb is still down in mid in the hands of Splix with that AWP. And so they got what they wanted. They threw out some smokes. They threw one smoke out actually to CT. And in return, I think they got a Molotov, their own smoke, and a flash. And that's exactly what they're trying to do, is the clock keeps on ticking. Bomb's making its way now to regroup with those 2 players that we kept our eye on. And Splix is with the AWP. He is so comfortable with that gun, and we know that he is. So I think if he's able to get onto this site, this can be a round number 2 on the board for UConn. They may not be expecting this boost, but they saw where the Molotov came from.
Just like that, they just shut down this bomb site. They're going to go ahead and get the bomb planted, or at least try to. And that's Splix right there. He's got an op in hand. It's going to be left up to Ray and Splix. Ray down to 6 HP. And this is going to be a hard hold for UConn. Splix giving some cover, and now they know exactly where he is at. And a wide peek coming out for Cookie. And Splix, oh, he gets another one. All he has to do is hold this angle. And there's the pop, and Splix gets 4 in the round. 6-2. That was a difficult one for them to pull off. But the fact is, they did not challenge the AWP together. And you saw how effective that was. As we take a look, there's one. As they both peeked out, and there's another one. And this is the last one coming in. He misses that one. You'd expect that he tried to be able to. Great job by Splix. We saw it last time with Splix on Inferno whenever they were facing off against RMU. He had a really sick round. We just saw it again as Splix has not been that effective in this game, but that was a good round coming in for him. As Ollie and Cookie, they challenge one another. Cookie's down to 4 HP.
And what did I tell you, Corey? What did I tell you? If you get Splix, that AWP, and you get him on site, that could be the second on the board of UConn. And that is exactly what happened. You need to challenge that man when he has that gun. And funny enough, Corey, when you said he missed that shot on that last kill, he didn't miss the shot. It's that he hit the fountain, and it didn't go all the way through it. And he was able to follow up and get the 4K for himself. So Splix absolutely lights out with that weapon at the time you need him to come alive. But now they're finding themselves in round number 9 in a 4v5 situation. So they're completely blind as they poke out. They didn't go behind any smokes or anything. They went behind one flash. Now we see Gub is just patient, holding down this position. We know how deadly this spot's been. Q is poking out. Doesn't quite check it yet. If Gub just checks it, he's going to see so much. He's going to wait. He's going to see them all, but it's Splix. Who else is it to close him out? And now they know it's going to be an A hit. They've got 30 seconds. Those two players are rotating over. Cookie's going to find the first opening. Him ensures they've got a nice crossfire. Splix gets taken out before he can make any more impact. And now it's down to Lighty. He's got 20 seconds, and he's completely surrounded. He's able to find one. As more players are trickling in, Lighty's able to find a second one for somehow. And there it goes. They're able to get the rotation in time, and they're able to get him before he could get the bomb planted. So that is 7 on the board for St. Clair. And this is the decider map of this series. For those just tuning in, this is the lower brackets. The loser of this match will go home with the winner advancing onto the top 8 of this bracket, and they will play tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what happened during that round, UConn, they tried to attack the A-bomb site late. The flashbangs that they threw were so deep that they did nothing. They were just so out of sight that it just did not make any impact, and they relied on those flashbangs so heavily. And it was just, you know, as clear as day for them, as clear as day for St. Clair to be able to shut it down. Here comes the nades, and both of those, the combination from Gub and Schurzay to be able to pick up that kill. There's going to be more action, and here's the bomb. As an op shot being missed there by Cookie, but they do take over, and Schurzay does fall, but now Gub is going to trade one. Now it's left up to Lighty again. And what? They're going to allow him to plant the bomb? Oh my goodness. Lighty, ooh, that could have been really bad. Lighty's playing so well.
I feel like if Lighty's the last one alive, he always has a chance.
I feel like if any player, the last one alive for UConn, I feel like they have a chance. For some reason, these guys are making some really effective rounds. I will backtrack for a second, though. 1v5s, usually you will be able to take away like 2 or 3 players just because of the nature of the players just pushing because they want to take the elimination away. Yeah, Lighty getting a couple. But I'm really amazed the fact that he was even able to get the bomb planted with ease like that.
I was thinking the same thing, and you said it. You read my mind, Corey. They're going to be happy with that one. That nets them some extra money in their pockets. As once again, UConn just playing it slow. I'm questioning why they want to play it so slow. And maybe it's the fact that Nuke is just their map. And that is like their own personality speaking through that playstyle on Nuke specifically. And I will say Nuke lends itself a little bit better to faster play. You can just blow doors open and barge through them versus Inferno. You're going to have to walk through smoke, so you have a little bit more of choke points to worry about. There's little sharper of angles you have to find more specifically versus just spots all over the place.
Yeah, mollies galore, slowing down flashbangs, a lot of utility that can slow you down on a map like this that are quick counters to any type of rush. And see, they have to push through that smoke to make something happen. I think the main thing that UConn needs to work on for them to continue to be effective is they just need to work on their flashbangs. I think if they want to be aggressive like they are as they push through those smokes, they need to ensure that they've got really good flashbangs. And so we'll see them setting up here. They're going to go ahead and head here towards the B-bomb site. Molly over the top.
Hey, and just as you say, the flashbangs is what they need to work on, and we saw Concon's perspective. He didn't even move. He was so blind. He's like, well, I guess that's it for me, and that is exactly what it was. This looks like it's going to be 3 on the board here for UConn. Splix is on that side with the AWP, and we saw the damage he was able to do, but this time he's got 3 teammates joining him. As Gub is just waiting for some exits. Oh, he's actually going to get aggressive. He can see the top of the head. He can see the top of the head. Look to your left. Look to your left, please. Gub, look. Oh, okay. Well, he found it anyways. I was being dramatic for nothing as he will still find the head of Q in just a different fashion. Now we actually see Cookies holding it towards spawn. He might find the shooting range. That's one, as he's going to rotate off position. He wants to keep the off for himself, actually. So he realizes he's in a little bit more danger than he realizes, but that's a nice flick on the Splix. And there's another one coming right behind you. Just kidding, he turns around. He wants to save his gun too. So they were able to take 3 guns out of the hands there on the side of UConn, as that's round number 3 for them, but still trailing 8-3 in favor of St. Clair.
Yeah, Scherzay's got himself his usual signature FAMAS.
Corey, am I crazy? Like, is that our perspective in which his head was poking up just above that wood there?
No, I believe that's exactly how they see him as well. So unless there's some weird field of view, no, I think that he probably had seen him on his screen as well. Yeah, he absolutely should have. Gub is just coming into this game, right? We don't know if he's been playing any games. The substitution. I'm curious because Thrasher was even in our chat as well, in our Twitch chat. So that's one of the things I'm going, wonder why they made the change that they did. As now Cookie's going to peek out. He's going to get taken down by Q. Maybe Gub is the Inferno player. I mean, that could be the case. I don't know. I don't know many teams that base players off of certain maps, but to each their own. As now they're taking over here, and Zapper is going to be inside of this site. Now he can delay it a little bit. Doesn't need to peek out, and there he goes. Zapper picks up 2. And now that's going to be Q who's peeking out wide, but he has to worry about his flank. And Gub picking that one up, and now scores 9-3. So everyone that's currently in Twitch chat, go ahead and reach out too. We've got another matchup that's after this one is RMU versus VCU as well. Make sure you tell a friend because that's going to be another really good game. We've enjoyed watching RMU in this tournament. And so make sure you stand by with us. That'll be the next match after this one out of this best of 3. And that'll be our first winner bracket semifinals. Semifinals, yep.
And we've enjoyed watching them for reasons other than anyone else in this tournament. And it's that of every time they have a gunfight, you just expect them to win. Their level of play is just so high that it's a beauty to watch. And so we'll have to keep our eye out for that match, but let's get through this one first. It's 9-3 in favor of that of St. Clair. And Scherzay is the one playing pit this time. They took Cookie out of that position. He was playing it so well, and he's blind as bad as Gub's going to get 1. He's going to get 2 even though he was blind. And Scherzay, how on earth did UConn not get any kills there? They didn't find a thing. They had the positioning. They had the manpower. They had, I thought, everything in their favor. And they walked away with nothing. So that's 10-3 now in favor of St. Clair. There must have been team flashes going out or something. I'd love to just see a replay of that situation going down because I thought they were going to take the site. Scherzay was completely blind, and so are some other players. But now as we move on to the next round, Lighty's finding some nice shots with that Deagle. He's trying to even up the odds a little bit. It's 3-3. Zapper's on 2 health, in fact. And Concon's even taking a lot of damage. He's on 38. So now those 3 players have working their way towards the B-bomb site. Trying to boost over the wall, see if we can find anything. Didn't want to walk through the smoke blind. Want to see if they can find just anything. This Concon perhaps shouldn't be the guy on the site since he's only got 38 HP, but now with that smoke going down, that's going to call for the rotation. He's going to hear the footsteps. He's going to get the first shot. He's going to get the second, and now it's just down to Lighty. Well, all right, Lighty, the guy we say we can always believe in on the side of UConn, is the last one alive, and he's got an AK. Also, he's got 50 seconds to work with. He's just going to commit to the site because the bomb's already here, and he's here. Now he's just got to win 2 fights. If he can find isolated 1v1s, that'll do the job, as they're both poking out together. And oh my goodness, that got close. If he was just able to find that first kill a little bit sooner, he could have picked up the ace in this eco round for UConn. But that's going to be 11 on the board for the side of St. Clair, and they are looking lights out in this first half.
Yeah, St. Clair has been playing well. This is the same St. Clair that we'd kind of seen from the first map. Now, we didn't get to see a whole lot of St. Clair in the second map, but they're very, very strong here. And UConn, I think we're going to go ahead and start writing out the obituaries. But what you got here, John?
What we were talking about is that 9 and 9-6 or 10-5 is what, if UConn, since we know how strong they are on their CT side, that's kind of what they're trying to feel out. That's what they're aspire towards. And if you're St. Clair, the second you hit 9, you're like, all right, we feel pretty good. Now they're getting bonus rounds in 10 and 11. And if they go to 12-3, they're going to have so much confidence going into UConn's
pistol
CT.
round at that point is
exactly,
just
and I was
so
about to say it. If they walk with the pistol round, that could just be all she wrote. But here we go. Trying to stop the bleeding as UConn. They're going to get the execute as Concon was spraying and just stopped. And that actually might be the 4th on the board here. That's 4 players alive on this B bomb site against 3. This will be a difficult retake. There's 1 player in Banana.
gone.
There's no players in Banana. These last 2 players working together. That's Cookie and Gov. That's going to push Q out of position. That's a nice pickup. So that's at least 1 off. But they still have the time working against them. And look at all the utility. Everywhere is fired off. They can't advance forward unless they just run through it. And they just have to.
No.
At some point, they just have to start running forward. The time's ticking. At this point, I don't even think they can win the round anymore. And there goes Cookie. So 11-4 scoreline as we go into the next half. Great showing here from St. Clair. But UConn, we know what they are capable of. Ray and Q, we've been building up that storyline, that partnership that they have on the B site for so long. And now it's the time for them to remind us why we've been building them up. And we see a pause now as Ray drops out before the half begins.
Let's see if we can get some more information here. He's just going to go ahead and get a quick restart. And then we'll get back into it. UConn, they know that they're in a very, very tough spot here in this game. Being down 11-4, and the pistol round, as always, is super important. And then if they don't win the pistol round, then it's very, very important for them to try to see if they can be able to shut them down. Because that's exactly what St. Clair did. If we pull up the scoreboard while we're waiting here, we can see the fact of like how the storyline went. Because you saw right there, UConn won the very first round. They won the pistol round, and then after that, you saw them lose every round after that point.
And that's devastating. You go into it, you want the pistol round, you get the pistol round.
I just noticed something. The rounds that they did win were all close. Look at that. 1 player alive on all of those except for the pistol round. Only having 1 player alive, this has really been St. Clair's game since the beginning. And you can look on the other side. They've had multiple rounds where they've had down to a couple there, or 2 or 3, and there's a few more that have like that had 5 or 4. So, but that's crazy to see. 4 rounds and 3 of those, only 1 player left alive at the bitter end. And so now UConn is going to be looking at it. They're going to be getting us back into the game here.
Oh my goodness.
As they're struggling with the pause structure, trying to pause, unpause.
Corey, am I seeing this right? Or is that 4 decoys?
Hey, we're about to. Yeah, you're absolutely seeing that right. Those are actually just little fireworks.
I mean, that's about accurate. That's about as much as a decoy is successful. So we'll have to see. That's going to be the first.
The biggest thing that to note, I mean, that all 5 of them bought body armor. Is the main reason why they bought decoys. Maybe, I mean, $50 difference is not that much, but I'd love to see how it gets executed with. Now, they may have a strat that leverages the decoys. I mean, that would make the most sense. But more importantly, they all have, and there comes the decoys. Lots of decoys. And just making it sound like it's super loud over there. And it does. Oh, my goodness. It does. It works. It baited it all out. They heard all the footsteps, heard all the shots, and guess what, Q? It's your turn. Good luck. As, man.
Wow.
You can't put a bigger worm on the end of that hook.
Bravo. Bravo, St. Clair. I've got nothing to say for that.
Oh, my goodness.
That is unbelievable that we just saw a decoy strategy working impeccably. And it looks like they're about to take this pistol round. It's a 2v3. They actually have a kit in the hands of Ali, and now it's down to a 2v2. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The time is ticking. It's getting down there. And Concon's got himself into a great position. They have a smoke. And now Gub's going to poke out. He's on the bomb. He's sticking it. He's sticking it. Okay. They run through it. He had a kit, so that's why I was getting a little bit nervous. But they find him through the smoke. A decoy strategy works. And that's going to be 12 on the board for St. Clair as they gimmick their way one round further and one round closer to taking this series.
Yeah, your statement about gimmick it away. I mean, we've also seen the second round coming in from St. Clair where they did the Astralis 5-man stack, and it worked.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
You do not want to be on the receiving end of that. Well, for both of those types of rounds that we just saw. That pistol round, oh man, that was just funny.
So, Corey, I've been talking about Ray and Q a lot. I decided to go through my notes. If you want to take us all the way back to April 28th, that's when we built that storyline of Ray and Q holding down the B bomb site.
That was forever ago.
That was forever ago, and so maybe that's what I'm saying. That storyline might be a little bit too old, as we see here. They're just like, hey, you know what? We've been hearing that story about the B story. We're just not going to do it. We're just going to decoy on A, and then we're going to go B and pistol. But everything after that, hey, we're just going to go to the A bomb site. Shurzay's getting it down now. Q's got himself a Galil with no armor. So this is going to be a tough task. A lot of these people, a lot of damage has been done, namely on Cookie with 19. But these players are going to be so hard to spot as Concon's got a perfect position over him. He even gets a flashbang for his troubles. 13-14. As now we're going to see the first gun round coming up for UConn. They have got to make a stop here or the bleeding will continue.
I'm trying to figure out what Ray's going to buy. He's got an MP9, same as Q. All right, MAC-10 in the hands of Cookie.
I bet they're just going to run down Banana. I have a feeling, oh, that grenade just goes behind him, and Cookie wishes he has that one back. I had a feeling that they were going to get aggressive towards Banana. They opt not to just yet. They're actually falling back into the site.
Yeah, this is going to be a default setup here for St. Clair. They're going to find their first pick, but both sites are going to play passively. You know, one that is up on top of the railing for the balcony for the A bomb site coming out of apartments. You have one that's close by Graveyard. And that you can see the boost up here as they've got a playing with the angle. I don't know if Cookie actually seen him, but that's going to actually bait out the smoke grenade. And you can start seeing them probably going to just go ahead and toy with him here for a little bit. Don't know why they threw that smoke, but I'll let that slide.
If you look at Shurzay, he's found a pick, and he's wrapping around through CT. Oh, no. He's making noise, too, so that's going to make Q and Ray uncomfortable on this B bomb site. They find Concon on A, and they actually start pushing towards that site even more. Maybe they heard the footsteps of Ray and Q on the B bomb site. That's why they got comfortable here, but Lighty's just starting to find pick after pick with Splix, and that just was a broken strategy on the side of St. Clair. They had a great setup for themselves on that B bomb site, and they didn't take it, and they just run right into those rifles. 13-5 now in a must-run round for UConn. That's going to slow down the money of St. Clair, and that's going to slow down the momentum, and that is exactly what UConn wants to see if they want to come back.
Well, it's the first step of a 5-step program, and I'll tell it to you for $19.99. No? Okay. All right, so here they go, heading here towards the B bomb site, and they're trying to do their best, trying to hold it down. And that's going to be it, as you can see Ray and Q are now happy about that. That's going to allow them to then purchase better weapons, but the Q I know, there he goes. He ends up buying himself an M4, and Ray ends up picking up the AK from one of his teammates. And so now we're going to see some solid gun rounds coming in for UConn. But on the flip side, we see an eco still. Cookie decides to buy himself a scout. Let's find out where Cookie's at. He's just watching mid with the scout, seeing if there's any cross that happens. But I would suspect that we're going to be in this situation for a little bit and waiting for a St. Clair trigger. As they're starting to work their way up here. Now that you can see this boost. Splix has got he's holding that angle with an op. And there's the first one. There's the trigger. And now they're able to kind of continue to hold this one down. It's crazy is how much they give up the arch side. All it took was just creeping up middle and just going arch. And that would have been the round. Because there's no way that Q and Ray would have been prepared for it because they would have been easily flanked. And Cookie having some nice little quick reflexes. Tagging Splix. This round is absolutely looking like it's going. Yep, and that's probably. Oh, he still stays alive. Oh my goodness! You can't allow him to continue to cause this much damage. But nothing too detrimental that will slow down the roll for UConn. But it is 13-7, as St. Clair is going to be on a bye here.
And here we go. The AWP now in the hands of Cookie, upgrading from that scout. 8Ks across the board. And this is where we're going to see it. This is how we're going to see this map shape up. This could be the difference between a 13-8 or a 15-7, or excuse me, I was going to say a 13-9 because the next round they'll be on an eco. Or a potential a 14-7, which then St. Clair's starting to build some confidence up again. I break that down in the sense just to try to get in the minds of UConn a little bit, to try to understand all of these rounds have a lot of weight to them.
Yeah, and their money is doing really well. If anything, if they lose this round, Leidy will still be at 4,900, and the rest of his team will be fine as well. That's excluding any defuses or getting any kills and so forth. But there falls Ray as a challenged. Cookie's displaying pretty good game right now.
That actually doesn't even warrant a rotation coming over. Scherze's made sure he's kept some players onto the site, and as I say that, Splix is now the player rotating over, and that op is lethal. They've got to smoke off that position for sure, and there it goes. Only player on site is Q. He's firing. He's revealed his position. They're just going to run on in. He's going to run out from the smoke, and he's going to get taken out by Cookie. Splix might be looking to get aggressive. He does not. He wants to wait for his team. The bomb goes down, and nice flick on there. Of course he's going to hit that shot. We know how warm he is with this weapon. He knows one's back of sight. He doesn't have any utility other than that flash to try to smoke him out. And Concon is just waiting for him to get aggressive. He finds Zapper. And now that he's seen Concon's starting to feel a little bit more nervous as Cookie's not able to find the shot. He finds the second time, and actually Concon finds Splix. Leidy's trying to get aggressive. He's going to find the tail end of Cookie, and they need this round.
He's got a smoke and a flash here. And he's going to decide to go ahead and... Oh, no, he pulled off of it. No. Oh, no. There's nothing you would have been able to do if you had not... Oh, goodness. If you would have tried to hop back onto it, he would have lost the round. He just needed to try to be able to stick it. You already confirmed that you were going to stick that defuse. Oh, man. It's just the little things in life. That's... Oh, man. 14-7. They will have money to go into this round, as we talked about. They had the 1,400 round bonus that they did not have, but the rest of the players had a lot of money to be able to buy here. But we do see a double op coming out for Q and Splix.
And Corey, I just bring up the weight of these rounds. Every step closer the way that St. Clair gets, and that's a shoulder peek gone wrong there on the side of Scherze, but every step of the way, every round St. Clair gets is one step closer to UConn getting eliminated. And as much as you say their players aren't thinking about it, I'm sure it's in their minds to some extent. They're still holding down on this A bomb site pretty strongly as they're finding themselves, and now a 2v5. And okay, seems like they've calmed themselves enough to Be able to recoup after the last round. Say, okay, we should have stuck it. We know that. It's all right. Let's just move on. And this round is over as Zapper, you already see it there. He's given up.
40 seconds left in the round, too.
Yeah. May as well just throw away the bomb at this point.
Well, the good thing is he can hear how many footsteps are coming his way. And if he really wants to get rid of this AK, I mean, he's got quite a bit of value coming in here. He's got the AK. He's got 2 flashes.
You know, Corey, actually, I want to call out this position. Look at where they're at on the A site. Sure, there's one guy left, but they're not watching Arch. And to what I remember, they were not watching Arch. They just stacked towards Boiler. They're confident that position won't be taken over. So I'm actually going to keep my eye on pretty closely to see if they watch that position this time, as they will be going against an eco. They know that one player saved the weapon, but they also know that the other 4 will be on pistols.
Yeah, we'll see. I am curious myself. Of course, we see Ollie usually provides some support in the beginning. Splix with a mid-pick. This is an eco round coming out here for this team, and Splix is trying to stay alive. Oh, that nade's probably going to be what's going to... Oh, no, he does get away just barely. As there's going to be one, he misses a shot, and he will continue to get challenged, but there is support that comes in, and they'll go ahead and pick up that ALBP for him. We'll toss it over here from Ray. Ray says, actually, I kind of like that. Can I keep it? And Ollie says, no, you need to give it to Splix.
And now that Zapper saved that last round, he didn't get any money from the round ending, and he will be the only player not on an AK. So as we head into round number 24,
yep,
this was an 11-4 half in favor of St. Clair. As Ray and Q take some damage from that Molotov and then just fall back. Now we're starting to see one player playing towards Arch and 2 people in apartments. I actually like what they're doing here. It seems like this is their default, and then Splix is just feeling where he's feeling it. He says, okay, where do I have a gut feeling? I'm going to go there. And it's apartments this time. It seems like that has been working for him. He's been able to find so many picks. He's now going to fall off the angle. He's probably going to make his way towards pit, and that's exactly where he's going to go. As Ollie just finds that crack in the smoke just barely.
Let's see if Ollie's going to challenge again here. As he's got one spotted. There's a nade. It's a nice grenade, but it just catches him just barely. And a good little flash coming in from Lighty, as that allows Ollie to get another one. And now they know that he's going to be playing this position. And that's a good molly. Oh, no. That's tough stuff. Zapper is down to 13 HP. They know that one player rotated. And so now they're going to go ahead and start to fall all the way back here towards the B bomb site. Now, don't forget, Q has an op of his own. And he's actually watching this one a little bit too passively. Now, at this point, Ray has to know something's going on. And he misses 2 shots. Those are big shots that he cannot miss. If you're going to play one player there in the bomb site by themselves, they have to get at least one. But here we have got Splix, Lighty, and Ray here for Yukon to try to retake this B bomb site. Con and Cookie in the back corner in the dark spot. And Zapper there, he was the one that was low on health. Ray has a kit, and they're going to start to be able to push in here and having to worry about too many angles. And Lighty is going to lose that fight. Great play by Cookie, playing that pillar, a very odd angle. And so there we have it. 16 is what the magic number is. It's 15-9 here for St. Clair.
The difference between landing one shot, Corey, that's all Q needed. He needed to get one shot, and he tried to fall away from the site, and he got taken out. He's wishing he had that one back, and he's going to be hunting for it. Oh, just barely missing. Zapper now, there's an edge in that smoke. You've got to be careful. He doesn't know he's going against an AWP, and ouch. That's going to be a grenade welcoming him into round number 25. As we see once again, We're seeing Splix holding down the aparts with AWP, and that's why he finds one pick, and they immediately fall off. Both of them fall off. So we see this. This looks like their default. It's when Q gets that AWP, he holds on to sight.
This is absolutely a much better angle for him to be able to hold. What he was holding before just allowed for such a poor rotate to be able to provide him support.
And we saw it exactly. He missed the shot, and then he was dead to rights because they just rushed him. He was in the air.
Well, he tried. The problem with that, though, is he tried to attempt to make that shot twice. If he missed the first one, that's okay. He could have then fallen back to coffins, to construction, and then allowed his teammates to regroup with him. But the fact is he challenged again, and at that point, he has to make that shot happen if he's going to peak again, and he just missed the second one too.
Well, here we go. Here comes the utility. That firebomb's going to go down, and Zapper's just going to run right through it. Ray was not able to recover in time as Q has missed another shot. He's got to start landing these. His team's back is against the wall. He hit Cookie there. He's down to 4. As another firebomb comes trickling in, the bomb has not gone and planted because Cookie gets hit through the smoke, and that's the bomb going down. Now they're all on fire. They're scrambling. It's starting to get messy. They only have 6 seconds left. They have 5 seconds left.
Got a challenge, and they do. They get the bomb planter, and that's
another round ends.
Yep. So that was a good play there by UConn at the end. That was St. Clair poor time management, and UConn extends this game one more round.
Zapper and ConCon are just so happy to get away with their lives there. The round ended, and they would have had bad money going into this round. I mean, their team doesn't have great money to speak for, so I'm not going to say like they're missing out on like a whole gun round, but if they lose this run, they're not going to be having a great round 11, at least on the hands of Zapper, as they force Q off of that position. And he's still holding the angle. He's got to start landing these shots. Okay, Ray's able to there. He's able to cover up, and that's a 3K, which is still nice and dandy, but they have the bomb, and they've got the sight. The rotations come over quickly. Cookie's going to get the bomb down this time.
Yeah, Q needs to get off of the op.
Zapper's got himself at a pretty decent angle. Cookie was able to get himself a gun at the same time, and that Molotov's just going to further slow them down. They've got 2 kits to work with, and they're just going to push in. Oh, they're running through the smoke. They're taking damage they don't need to be. Zapper's still holding a good angle. They're just going to run right past him. He's going to see all 3 of them. Zapper's going to be pushing onto the side. He's the last man alive. He's got it all to do. He's going to find one. He wants to close it out here. He's going to try to contest him. He's on the bomb. He's on the bomb, and he's going to close it out with the 1v3. Zapper closing it out, ending it for UConn. We talked about how strong UConn was supposed to be.
Wow.
And 1v3 like that on an eco. Oh, my goodness. St. Clair has just ended the tournament life of UConn.
Yeah, so UConn is now out of the tournament. St. Clair played that so well. Cookie was really, really good in that game, and we saw what he was able to do, and a good way to be able to finish that one. So St. Clair wrapping this one up. There's just so many different points that we can call out during that matchup, what should have been done differently. But in the end, St. Clair College defeating UConn, and they will continue to climb their way through the lower bracket, and they now, I believe, will face off against Kennesaw, will be tomorrow. Oh, this is going to be some fun times. So what we're going to go ahead and do, we've got one more match. That is a best-of-1 versus RMU. They're taking on VCU. That will be coming up next, so stick with us right here from Esports Stadium, Arlington.